And we are live from high atop Hard Rock Sports Studios in beautiful and scenic Monroe, New Jersey. We are the Hard Rock Sports Show, your weekly 3-hour get-together where we bring you all of the biggest news from around the worlds of hard rock, heavy metal, and, of course, the wide world of sports. And, guys, welcome aboard to the video live stream right here on the Hard Rock Sports Network. And lots to talk about tonight. Civil unrest everywhere. Confederate flags being banned. No national anthem. Plenty to talk about tonight.
Let's talk real quick about the Confederate flags. Okay. Last time I saw, we won the war. Why do we give a fuck about the Confederate flags anyway? You know what? You came in second place in a two-man war. You fuck your flag. I don't care about the Confederate flags, what they do with that. All right. There's other things that are more important than.
No, I agree with you, Jeff. I agree with. There's only one flag that matters. I agree with you.
And if these people want to fucking stand and race, that guy's a fucking moron. And I'll tell you something right now. You can wave him around all you want, and I don't care what anybody else says. But with everything that's going on, that fucking guy needs to step the fuck up and do it quickly. Okay? If he doesn't,
let me ask you a question. What would you like him to do?
Something.
The state to handle it. What? Let's put it this way.
Listen.
Go ahead.
If I knew what to do, I'd be president. I'm not president.
Well, but here's the thing. The states are telling him. The states tell him to stay out of it. So what would you
listen? He's the president of the United States.
I agree with you, but
you're on the brink of a racial civil war. Step the fuck up and say something and do something. I don't give a fuck what the governments or the governors say and the states say. This guy's the federal government. Withhold money. Do something. You got to do something quickly, because if not, you're either part of the problem or you're along for the ride and you're okay with it. One way or another, he needs to step up. He needs to say something.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but words
and fucking do something about it.
Words aren't good. Listen, you know what? If the people in Seattle or Washington want to let these people take over police stations, there's not a lot he can do legally to do anything about it.
Yes, there is. Yes,
I don't think so.
Oh, I'll tell you. How about calling a state of emergency and sending in the military to these fucking places until
listen? But here's the thing, Jeff. If he does that, then they're going to condemn him for sending in troops to pull out these people. I agree with you. I'm wholeheartedly with you.
Either way, no matter what happens, okay, he's going to look stupid.
Absolutely.
You want to preserve the nation for what it is. Send in the fucking military. Squash all of this bullshit and be known as the fucking asshole president that squashed this rebellion. Okay?
Listen, I think that's what's going to happen. If you want my personal opinion, I believe that's what's going to happen.
It's going to continue to pick up steam. It's going to spread, and it's going to get worse. Okay? These statues, okay, other than for some of these statues being up for as long as they were, I really couldn't give a fuck less if they pull down statues of Civil War leaders. And
but Jeff, today it's Civil War leaders. What if tomorrow it's something else? Here's the thing.
It's going to be until the federal government steps up and says, "Listen, we're going to take over. Whatever it is that you got to do to calm this, it has to be done." Okay. This went from one cop kneeling on somebody's throat to now. Look at what's happening now. Look what's happening.
Yeah.
The Star Spangled Banner could be optional.
Yeah.
NFL teams, you haven't even fucking got the preseason under your belt yet. You're already talking about what you may do when the season starts, how you're going to protest. Are you fucking kidding me? This country gives you the right to protest.
Yeah. Listen, Jeff, I'm with you.
They fucking arrested everybody that was involved in this killing of this guy, George Floyd. And that's another thing, too. People want to say about George Floyd, about all the shit that he did and everything else. I understand the guy wasn't a saint. That's fine. That's cool. But it doesn't matter. The guy was killed.
Oh, absolutely.
He was killed.
Absolutely.
Making him out to be a martyr.
Well, again, to a certain extent, he is. Listen, regardless of whether George Floyd was a Boy Scout or not, he was killed unnecessarily. I'll be the first one to say with you, I agree. I don't really care what he did before that. As far as I'm concerned, he made some mistakes. He did bad stuff. He paid the price, and that should be the end of it.
Exactly.
I don't really want to hear people say he's this great human being.
No.
That kind of stuff is, more than to hear them. Oh, he's the greatest guy in the world. The guy held a gun to a pregnant woman's stomach so his friends could rob her. He's not a saint.
No,
but he did nothing. He did nothing to deserve to die. And I think I hope the cop who did it. I think it's going to come out more that it's not a racial thing, that these guys had a beef, but that's a whole different case.
Just saw an article somewhere. I can't remember where I saw it.
Yeah,
I sent it to you. I didn't realize that we would be talking about this again.
Oh yeah,
that they worked together and that there was an issue with them when they worked together. I think it was a Channel 7 or Channel 4 news thing, and
they've been talking about that for weeks now. Like, it's been dropped in there here and there. Here's the problem, Jeff. If they do that, then it takes the race part out of it. So now, if it comes out that they worked together and they had a beef at work, it's no longer he killed him because he's black. He killed him because they had a fight at work.
Well,
so it's ruins the narrative for the liberals.
If you spin it that way, it could be that way, but you need to know what the beef was. Maybe the beef was a racial beef while it worked.
Absolutely, 100%. I won't argue with it. I agree with you. Here's the thing. You know what, Jeff? I'm all for protests. I'm all for people voicing it. But here's what's happening right now. There's somebody out there. I don't know who this person is. There's somebody out there deciding, you know what? Today we don't want the national anthem. Okay. And all these people are running for cover. And I don't get it. I just don't, people, they're pulling, Jeff, Paw Patrol. Some stupid cartoon about a German Shepherd dog because it portrays cops in a good light.
I have no idea, nor do I really give a fuck what Paw Patrol is and everything else. But the point, just a little further back, you're right. Whoever this is, they're fucking coming in. They're fucking coming in with little jabs here and there, jab there, jab there. And that's how they're going to chop everything down. That's why I say that the feds have to get involved. They got to do something. They have to. Because if not, this is going to go down the drain very fucking quickly.
I agree. But I know that he's got to be first off, if I know Trump from being president for 3.5 years, he's wanted to fly in there with the military, quash this, and stand over there with the big flag and go, I did it. It's all over. But he's being told not to, or he can't, one or the other. But and I agree with you. The federal government needs to do something, whether it's the National Guard or military troops. They got to squash this and put this to rest. But here's the problem. Once this is done with that, it's still not over. They've taken over. Now you can't. Here's the thing I saw this week, Jeff. You're not allowed to say, I'm not racist. If you say you're not racist, you're racist.
Oh, listen, whatever. Okay. No, whatever they come down to, that you're not going to stop that. That you're never going to stop.
I agree, but the problem is people pandering to it because listen. I mean,
if you don't stop all of this stupidity, all right, it's going to just continue and continue and continue. Some asshole wants to say you can't say I don't understand that. I'm not racist. Okay, what does that mean? I'm not gay. Does that mean when this show is over that I'm going to go bang some guy up the ass? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't see that happening. So if you say I'm not racist, I'm not racist. What does that mean that you're racist? What the fuck? They're doing so much shit. It's unfucking believable.
I agree, but for us, it's trickling over now. Now today they and again, do I really care about the Confederate flag? I don't care 1 second about it. I think it's actually a cool looking flag. I don't think but I don't think of it representing anything. It's just a piece of cloth that some people think looks cool. Okay. I don't care. But if you want to say, you know what, it should not be a symbol for our sport or for our company, I kind of get it. No problem. But my point is, today it's the Confederate flag. Tomorrow it's going to be the U.S. flag because they're going to say it symbolizes racism that's going to be next. And if we don't put the halt to it at some point, we're never going to get out of this.
And then how the fuck are you going to put the halt to it?
That's the point.
How are you going to put the halt to it? If you don't fucking squash it now, it's going to be out of hand. It's never going to stop.
I agree. But here's the thing. And I know regardless, you don't like Trump, people don't like Trump. I get it. Here's the problem. And regardless, you can hate him all you want. Everybody can. The one thing I'll tell everybody is this. Elect Joe Biden in November.
No, Joe Biden's a fucking fool.
Gotcha. But elect him in November, and what you're going to have is Mayor Dinkins in the White House. And what I mean by that is Mayor Dinkins got voted into to New York City in the late, 88?
No, early 90s.
No, it was 88 because Rudy got in 92 to 96 to 2000. So it was 88 to 92 he was in. And it turned the city.
Giuliani was still mayor in 2001.
Well, that's when he got out. So that's what I'm saying. So Dinkins was 88 to like 92 something, and then Rudy got in something like that. It was like 80.
He was there in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, whatever. The date's not.
Yeah. So, but the problem is, once he got in, it let loose a whole different way of doing things. I remember being in Times Square in the early 90s, 90, 91, and having to get police protection to walk into a building that was being demolished. You couldn't be walking in Times Square at 10, 11 o'clock in the morning because it was unsafe. It took Giuliani and Bloomberg to turn Times Square and New York City around. You will have that same mentality because Joe Biden has no clue, and you're going to have people like AOC and all that crowd running this country from behind the scenes, and you're going to have mass hysteria. You can knock Trump all you want. I don't care what anybody tells me. Do what you want to do, but you vote Joe Biden in. See what you got now? Times it by 20. You're
100% right. But here's the thing. Joe Biden ain't going to make 4 years. We know that.
Right, but he's going to be worse. He's looking to pick one of these progressive women like Stacey Abrams or Kamala Harris. Do we all think that two years later is going to be better?
I'm not saying that anything good is going to come of it. Don't get
None of it.
wrong.
Oh, I agree with you.
We all know that nothing good is going to come of any one of these people in there. And the worst part is, this is the best that they could come up with.
Correct.
This is the best that they could come up with. This is fucking sad.
I agree with you. That's the point. I think that's the point.
My thing with Trump is simply this. You know what? I do not like the man. I don't like him as a person. I don't like the way he acts. I don't like anything about him. Okay? But right now, he is the best thing that we have in this upcoming presidential race, without a doubt. But he needs to step forward as the president of the United States. There has to be something that he can enact or something to squash this, because if he doesn't, it doesn't really matter who the next president is. If it's Trump or Biden, this is just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And it's going to get worse. It's just, that's all there is to it. Something has to happen to make this all stop ASAP. It's got to stop yesterday. I don't know what it is. If they
is everybody seeing this live? Because I keep getting an error message back at me. Is Tony, anybody out there seeing the show live on Facebook right now?
I don't know if it's on there, but they got to do something. They have to. I don't know what it is. They got to figure out. But it's it is
live on Facebook right now.
Yeah, it's on.
It's on there. Okay,
they got to do something. It's on. They have. But I don't know. I mean, how much more stupid does anybody listening to what these people are saying? Could it get any fucking dumber?
Yeah,
these people are fucking saying. I do not understand it at all whatsoever. Like, you can't say you're not racist. That means you're racist.
Yeah. Yeah, I listen. I don't get any of it, and I'm just saying, guys, we keep. Here's the problem. Everybody on the other side of the aisle, or anybody on the politically correct side, what's happening right now is they know that people like you and me, Jeff, who are appalled by this, are not going to run down the street and start burning buildings. We're not going to run down the street and loot, or we're not going to have these massive 5 million people protests. So they're like, all right, it's easier to placate the maniacs who are taking over police stations than have to worry about the Jeff Towinskis, Tom Floryers, Tony Guns, the people out there who are just normal, everyday people who don't like what's going on. And that's the problem, is that unless we get a voice somehow, and I'm telling you, and I get it, that people don't like Trump, but forget about everything else. He's at least the one guy who will knock back against all this craziness. And if we don't, we're going to have 4 years of nightmare.
What is he doing? It's happening now. It's actually, as you're speaking, everything that you're saying, it's happening now.
I agree, Jeff, but
he has to step up.
I agree, but
fucking stop this shit. He's the president of the United States. There has to be something. There has to be something.
I'll tell you this. I agree with you, but I disagree, and here's why I disagree.
Then you're letting it happen, and then that means you're doing nothing.
But again, here's the thing. This is a state of Washington. You have a mayor, you have a governor, now you're asking the president of the United States to mobilize the military and forcibly take over a city or an area of the city. To me, that's a huge step. God forbid people got killed, somebody got shot and killed, and that's what they want. Somebody wants somebody to die, and then that would be the end of him. And I get it. I get your point, and I think he needs something.
What you need to understand, and what you as a person right fucking now need to understand, okay, is that whatever he does or doesn't do is hurting him either way. Because if he's not doing anything to stop it, it's just going to continue to grow and get bigger. Right now, it's Washington. Okay, so it's one fucking state. What happens when the people of fucking Oregon start? Oh, then we might as well.
I agree, Jeff. I agree.
And everything else. And then once it starts to spread, and then it's 5, 6 states that are doing this, and he's still fucking saying stupid shit, not doing anything, then he's going to have a bigger fucking problem. Because sooner or later, if he doesn't stand up and do something to fucking squash this immediately, you're gonna have a bigger fucking problem, Tom.
Jeff, I'm not way. Listen, to me, I told you, I got no problem. Put snipers on the roofs and tell anybody who goes in and out of the building, you're gonna put a bullet in their head. I'm with you.
Fucking, you got to take somebody out.
But this is ridiculous. I mean, listen,
he's going down now in a bad light, no matter what happens. Okay, it does not matter how you feel about him. It does not matter how I feel about him. Yeah. It's going to be what he's going to be written about. They're going to say, well, there was questions if he was racist. There was questions if he was this. There was questions about this. It's going to be a laundry list of fucking things. Are they questions about? Sure. Okay. During his presidency, guess what happened? Racial unrest. They're not going to turn around and fucking say, well, he didn't do this, didn't do that. During his presidency, George Floyd got killed. It led to riots throughout the country and racial unrest. And it's going to go down in the history books. Doesn't matter what he says. That's what's going to happen. On his watch, it happened.
No, listen, and I agree. And I think that, no matter what, listen, there's a line in the sand. There's people who hate him and there's people who love him. There's a small majority in the middle, a very, 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 very small majority that are down the center of this whole thing. And those are the people you got to convince. And here's the problem. Right now, their only options are two, Trump or Biden. And Biden puts us in a world of shit that we'll never get back from.
You can't worry about what's going to happen in fucking November. It's June. You need to worry about what's going on right now.
I agree.
The country is falling the fuck apart. When you can't have a certain flag up, or first of all, NASCAR, okay? 100,000 people fucking attend their events. There's 37 teeth and an IQ of a can of corn combined. You're going to worry about what fucking flags they got? They're a bunch of fucking
listen,
rednecks anyway. It's a redneck sport. You're talking about the flags that these people fly. That's what their beliefs are. It's what happens down south. It's not going to stop now all of a sudden because you're not going to let them have their flag. Now you're pissing them off.
Yeah, well, that's the point.
Continue to grow. You watch.
Listen, here's the thing. What's going on right now is not bringing people together. No. Right now, for myself, I don't care what their message is, what their problem is. You're taking away my rights. I could care less what you want to say. I don't care. You come to the table. We all have a conversation. I have the option of turning on a television show if I want to watch it. If I don't, I don't. But if you take things away and say you can't have it, I stopped listening. And I'll tell you right now, if any of the NFL teams ban the anthem, I won't watch. I promise you, I will stop watching football. I will stop watching all sports. Let me find the teams that don't have the national anthem because of this bullshit. I promise I will stop watching sports. It don't bother me anymore. I haven't had it for months. And you know what? My life has not changed a bit.
Yeah, listen, I hear you. I can't imagine them taking that step. That would be disgusting. Disgusting.
I agree. And here's the problem. Unless me and you and Tony Gunn and everybody who's listening and everybody who's out there paying attention, don't raise our voice, they're going to go, oh, they're okay with it. Let's do it. And we'll appease these idiots on the left.
You know what's going to happen? If we raise our voices because they take away the anthem at the beginning of a sporting event, you know what? We're racist.
Correct.
We will be racist. We will be racist. We're holding down Black lives. We're holding down the lives of minorities because we are racist. because we want our beliefs to be shown and our beliefs to be the only ones there. And other than saying the flag represents everybody, and that's giving you the right to protest. But these retards don't see it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, they need to live in another country where you say the wrong thing, and then a black van comes and you get thrown in and you disappear. Well, where's Joe? I don't know. He was on the street last week on the corner. They came in the van. He went. That's it.
Yeah. It's not like, guys, just so everybody knows, for some reason, this StreamYard's not letting me respond to any of your messages. It just keeps coming. An error occurred. Was this broadcast deleted on Facebook? And I know Tony's out there. Other people, I guess, are out there. But for some reason, it's not letting me respond to anybody's messages, so I'm not ignoring it. I want to bring on, first I'm going to get my dad on, and then we got Bill Graziano's on the phone. He can't seem to get through on the video. So we're going to bring Billy on in a second. Let's get my dad on and see if that's working. Hey, Pop, you out there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Are you hearing Jeff when we were talking?
Can you hear me, Jeff?
I can hear you, Mr. Fleury. How you doing?
I'm good. I hear both of you. And I'm getting a kick out of it because you guys are really getting in. First, listen, I don't try to get into politics because politics is a loser thing. I agree with you say, a lot of the things you say. But, again, anything with the flag, is you live in a country where you're able to do that and do just what you said, Tommy. If you put on a TV and they're not doing what you want, just shut it off.
Yeah.
Change the channel.
Correct.
Put it up. That's what you got to do.
Why can't...
What's going on now, he can't... Listen, I'm not a Trump fan by any means or what, but he can't do anything. What's going on? It's illegal. The only way he's allowed to send troops in, he'd have to have the governor or whoever, the governor asks for troops to come in, which is not going to happen.
And that's all well and good, but you know what? In this situation, it's getting bigger than that.
Same thing that happened here, okay? When they wanted Blinken, but whatever the hell his name is, the mayor here.
Yeah.
Okay.
De Blasio.
He said De Blasio. He said the only way that I can go over his head, I have to actually take him out. That he's not no more. I got to get a judge to say that I don't want him as mayor. Take him out as mayor, and then I take over the city, and then I can send troops in.
Which, listen,
when they were having the riots.
I'd vote for Cuomo for Pope if he did it. I'd vote for him for Pope.
I'd vote for anybody.
Yeah, if anybody gets that moron out, and they're grooming his wife to be mayor soon. Believe me, if you don't see it coming,
she's never gonna fucking get made. It doesn't matter what
he got in.
Doesn't matter. People know her now. People know if they voted for her, then it's forget it. Forget it.
That's my point.
He's a fucking retard. There's no way under the sun his wife's getting in.
I'll tell you, there's a few announcements I got to make. I want to get Bill on. So, Bill, hang on a few more minutes. First off, starting probably July 9th show, we'll probably be doing away with the radio show altogether. I'm fed up with Blog Talk Radio. I have another couple ways my dad will get on and some other people who want to call in. So sometime probably the second week of July, there'll be no more radio show. It'll just be the live stream only. So just keep that in mind. Two, if Joe Biden gets elected into office, I am leaving the country. I will officially tell you I am out of here.
Well, Tommy, I don't want to interrupt you, but everything you're saying about Biden is happening right now, and he has nothing to do with it. So you'll learn as a politician, they do more with their mouth than what they can actually do. There's nothing he can do. He's the president of the United States, and that's as far as it goes. He cannot send troops in.
No, it's not that. No, I get that. I get it, but here's the thing. I get your point, but to a certain extent, but it's another thing to turn your back and allow it. If you listen to him talk, he's at least Trump comes out and says, "Hey, wait a second, we're not defunding the police. We're not abolishing the police. We're not getting rid of the police. You're all out of your mind." At least we got Biden. Well, I'm not really for it, but I'm allowing. Here's the problem: wishy-washy. This. Do you remember what Dinkins did to the city of New York?
Oh yeah.
Okay, it's the same exact. Correct. It's the same exact thing will happen if Joe, and worse, because now at least then people respected the cops. At least we had some sort of moral dignity in our country. If Joe Biden gets in and people like AOC have a voice more of a voice, we are doomed. We are doomed. I know everybody.
I don't know. I don't know.
Dad, come on.
I try not to get it.
I understand that, but so I get it. So
all my years, I found out they're all full of shit.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but
give you the world.
Law and order means something in this country, and right now, you know, we have a law and order president, and we're fighting for our lives. Imagine if we get a guy in who just goes, do whatever you want. I don't care. Do whatever you want.
You're saying we got a law and order president, but meanwhile the guy can't do fucking dick.
But Jeff, that's a totally different thing. It's two different things. Right now,
if he can't do nothing about it to save face and save what's going on, then what difference does it make?
But again, there's a legal end to what he can and do. Putting military troops on U.S. soil is illegal. Was it the Posse Comitatus Act or whatever they call it? He cannot physically do it. But Dad, listen, I know you didn't call and talk about politics. Did you have something you wanted to jump on?
No. But right now, there's really nothing to politics.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's the same shit. It's the same thing like what's going out on the street. It's all bull. It's all idiots. Two idiots that don't know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I listen. All you have to do is just sit back, do what you want to do, and just watch. And you'll see this in a very short period. This will all go away.
I hope
they want to rip down the flag.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Take down the Confederate flag. You have this. This is a country where you can take the American flag and throw it on the floor. Not saying that I would ever do that.
No.
But you have the right to do it.
Correct.
You have the right to do it.
Absolutely.
If you don't like it as a person, just whatever's associated with that person, you don't watch. If they stop the national anthem and you get upset, don't watch the football game. Call the sponsor up, whoever sponsoring that game, and tell them you're not buying their product no more.
Yeah.
That's the way you fight them. You hit them in the pocket. Because all that talk, they just go, oh, yeah, I agree with you. I wish there was something I could do. You got an election coming up. Make the politicians know what you feel.
Yeah. Listen, I agree with that. That's why I'm begging people to vote for Trump. I'm sorry. I can't make it any clearer. Biden gets in.
Sorry.
Biden gets in. We are doomed. We are doomed. No, I'm not telling people you should like Trump. All I'm saying is you're gonna have to look at this as the lesser of two evils. If you're not a Trump guy, if you're not on the border, if you're just take a look, and then if you're old enough, remember the Dinkins years, and that's what we will have here. We will have the Dinkins years all over again. But worse, because now they're taking over. They're running around telling us what we can and cannot do. We cannot watch this show. You cannot say this. This is what's happening, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And Jeff, I agree with you. I wish Trump could come in there with the military, calm the country down. He just can't do it.
Listen, that's all well and good. Let him sit there. Let him not do anything. That's fine. You know why? Because in a couple months, whatever the case is, everybody's going to turn around and say, well, he should have did something. And then it'll be too late. So I would rather see him act now.
But do what? Do what?
Tom, you want me to really say? I don't give a fuck if he rolls into a city with a fucking tank parade.
I got that, but then he will be out of. They will then impeach him for doing it.
So I'm just saying. What? And if he fucking stops it, they can impeach him all he wants. That's how I would look at it. Impeach him all you want. But you could say it as he went out the fucking door, he stopped this the racial and political uprising, and everybody got back into line. Yeah, he fucked up, but you know what? Everything is good again. There's no problems. There's no bullshit.
He's out of office. It's getting worse. It'll absolutely get worse.
It's going to get worse. It's going to get worse no matter what. You think that this is it? You think that it ain't going to get worse? It's going to get worse, bro. It hasn't even begun. It hasn't even begun.
I disagree and I agree, but I hope that
you're going to tell me that it's going to calm down. Tell me, please tell me.
I do believe it'll calm down. I agree with my father. Things go in cycles, and this will eventually go away. Something else will become the narrative.
When was the last time that a cycle like this happened? Please.
I don't. My lifetime never, but it happened in the 60s.
Guess what? Didn't happen in your father's lifetime either.
No, it did in the 60s. Think about that. Say the 60s was bad, right? That for stuff like this.
It was about the Vietnam War. It wasn't about racism. was all about the Vietnam War. It was a lot of shit going on in the.
I got it, but they were still burning flags. They were
burning flags for 1,000 years.
No, what I'm saying is they were riding in this country because of the war. Then the war went away. This will go away. Something else will come up, guaranteed.
This ain't going away.
Hey, Robert Finelli, what's up, Fighterelli? So, Pop, what else you got?
No, that's good. I'm gonna let you guys.
Thanks, Pop.
And just it is what it is.
Yep.
There's nothing you can do about it.
No, sir. I've learned that already.
Enjoy it.
Thanks,
Have
Pop.
a good one. I'll talk to you over the weekend.
You got it, Dad.
See you later, Mr. Florio.
Take care, buddy.
Hey, I'm going to pick up Billy Graziano, and then we're going to have a couple of just so you guys know, tonight's episode of the Hard Rock and Sports Show is dedicated to Antoinette Gansas, who is the mother of our dear friends, the Gansas family, Joe Gansas, Michael, Andrea, Diane, Patricia, their spouses and their kids, grandkids. So Jeff and I, with the passing of Mrs. Gansas, as I've always called her, we thought we'd kind of dedicate the show tonight. So this part of Jeff, this is not the part we're dedicating to her, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So Joey's going to call in about 8:15, and we'll kind of do a walk down memory lane type of thing.
See the finger?
I see the finger.
Yeah. Well, to that side, the other side.
I see it.
All right.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure that everybody checks in. But that's what the show is about tonight. But in the meantime, we got a lot to. Again, you know what, guys. I want to talk about, after we pick up Billy Graziano, I want to talk about the NFL and them now backpedaling, and now, Jeff, they've apologized for the no kneeling. People have all sorts of calls out for Kaepernick to be put back in the league. I want to get to that, but let's get Bill Graziano on, a good friend from 25 Missions and around the music scene. Hey, Bill, welcome to the show. Bill?
Oh, thank you, guys. I just want to say my condolences for Mrs. Gansas.
You got to speak up, Bill.
I mean, I seen
I hear him good.
Tony and Joe at the wake. You know, we talked a while, but I kind of I agree with your dad. It's a crazy thing, you know. I was a little upset this afternoon when I heard that on the radio that all the sports are going to start doing that. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of veterans, you know, they sacrifice, some of them sacrifice their lives for that. And it's horrible. You know, that's our heritage.
Yeah, you know, Bill, here's the thing. And you know,
it really does.
No, it does. And here's the thing. You know, if you don't want to salute the flag, if you don't want to stand, don't salute. I get it. That's part of the beauty of our country, is that you don't have to do these things. But don't take it away from me. Right.
Yeah, they have the right to do that.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's the problem is now we're getting into a situation in this country where where people say it's like, I'm going to shout you down and keep you from having your opinion. Let me have my opinion. You don't want to go to a baseball game because they're doing the national anthem, that's fine. If you want to go and stay inside while they're doing it or sit in your seat, that's fine. I don't agree with it, but I am allowed to be able to do what I want to do as much as you are. And that's the problem, guys, is that they're trying to take these things away from us. And we have to say something. Otherwise, we're going to lose these things.
You're going to lose them because, you know, the first thing they're going to turn around and say is that we're here for a sporting event. There's no reason to have political shit going on during a sporting event. You're 100% right. Okay? If you don't like it, go to the bathroom, go buy a beer, go have a pretzel, whatever. Sit, turn around, go stand in the hallway, whatever it is you got to do. How long, when you think of how long a baseball or a sporting event is, how long is the actual singing of the national anthem? 2 minutes?
Yeah.
2.5 minutes? So you got to give up 2.5 minutes? So what?
Mm-hmm.
The only reason you're able to attend that sporting event is because of what the people what they gave for that anthem, for that flag, for this country.
Yeah, we should.
And you're taking everything away, and it's just disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
I think that's the point, right, Bill? I mean, the point is, you know, I understand that if something offends you, you know, we don't be part of it. But if it doesn't offend me, or if listen, I'm not a big Confederate flag guy. But if you want to paint that on your hood of your car, go ahead. As long as you're not running down the street killing black people, what does it matter?
Why did you say black people? You're racist.
No.
I agree.
Why couldn't it just be people?
Oh, because that's what they associate it with.
I'm only fucking with you, man.
You know,
What'd you say, Bill?
It's going to keep going.
Yeah.
We got to do what Joe said to do. We got to hurt them in their pocket. Everybody's got to boycott the game.
Well,
they're not going to be doing
it's
got to stop something.
Well, I agree with you. And listen,
you know, they're knocking down the statues, taking heads off the statues. You know, if we forget about the history, we're doomed to repeat it.
Listen, absolutely. Listen, and again, you know, there's a lot of bad history associated with the early part of this country. There was they believed in slavery. So all the great people that we treasure for what we have today, the Thomas Jeffersons and the George Washingtons, that whole crowd, they all had slaves. Doesn't mean it's right, but that's what was part of those days. I'm not saying it's right, and we shouldn't celebrate that part of it.
That is a slave or had owned slaves.
Right. Listen, my family didn't come until the 1930s from Italy. So why? What do I have to do with that? I heard some guy on TV the other day. I think it was Ben Johnson, a guy who started the BET channel, and he wants to give $14 trillion to 40 million black people because of slavery. And I said, well, why should my tax money go there? My family had nothing to do with it. We weren't here till the 1940s. What, you know, unless you were a slave now, I'm sorry, but those days are over. I'm sorry. Let's move on. You want to talk about moving on? Move on.
That was history. That was history.
Yeah. So, you know, again, Tony, I mean, Bill, I agree with you. And I said this to Jeff. I love football. I love sports in general. But I'll tell you right now, if my beloved New York Giants or New York Yankees stop doing the national anthem, I won't watch. I won't go. I won't watch. I won't buy stuff. And yeah, you're right. Hit them in the pocketbook. Yeah. You know, and it'll hurt me because I love the game, and we talk about it all day here on the show when we don't have people burning buildings. But at some point, if we don't make a stand, they're just going to take. You're going to start waking up in the morning and going to go, "This is what you can do today. This is what you can't do today, and this you can't say this." That's what our life's going to be unless we start shouting back.
It's happening now. It's actually happening as we're talking. It's going on. And as far as sports goes, you know, yeah, you would be one of a minority that turns around and says, I'm not going to watch it. But unfortunately, it's a fashion statement now, sports, because of all of the clothes and the apparel and everything else that they sell. There's still people that are going to watch it regardless. But just on the fashion level, the things that they do with the jerseys and all the clothes and everything that they sell, dude, they'll still make money up the ass. It's still going to happen. You know it.
Listen, I know, but
the shame of it. That's the shame of it.
Got hurt from all that kneeling bull.
Yeah, but again,
they got hurt.
Yeah, and I think, and it's again, at some point, if we don't get band together as you know, not white Americans or black Americans, just middle class, everyday Americans, and if we don't hit them in the pocketbook and let them know we ain't going to put up with it, it'll just keep going. And I'm sorry, I keep saying I'm sorry. You know, if we elect Joe Biden in November, we are doomed as a country because it'll just get worse. I know it's bad now, Jeff. I get it. It'll be worse. It'll be worse. So, you know, Bill, I don't know how we fix it other than either we all going to start marching and not go to work, and we're going to start looting and rioting. Maybe that'll get their attention, but we're better than that. We have to hit them in the pocketbook.
Yeah, we can't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I saw you were a little outraged today, and I wanted to give you the option.
What the problem is with that?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what the problem is with it. Bill, what are you doing tomorrow morning? Are you getting up early?
I get up at 4:00.
Okay, why are you getting up at 4:00?
I got to go to work.
There you go. Tommy, what are you doing tomorrow?
I'll be going to work.
All right, I'm off from work tomorrow. All right, there's the problem right there. We go to work. Yep. The people that are doing this, they don't all go to work.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't give a fuck about money. They live for the moment. They don't live for long term. Okay. Hurting them in the pocketbook, there is no pocketbook to hurt them in. They don't give a fuck.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I believe that if enough people like us stop watching the game, stop going, stop buying the apparel.
You're never going to hurt the NFL.
Let me ask you a question.
About the people that are doing the protesting and all.
I got that. You're right, but the problem is right now they've got an ear. People are listening. If we hurt the NFL and they go, oh, okay, we can't keep giving you this. If we hurt enough of the corporate sponsors, you will see how much they will push back on it. I'm sorry, that's the only way only voice we have other than rioting in the streets. So,
and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And the entities that you're talking about a multi-billion-dollar fucking company. It doesn't matter. He's plastic. He's a dick. Okay? The entities that you're talking about just have too much money. You're not going to stop. You're not going to stop it because you stop buying Coca-Cola or you're not watching an NFL game. There's going to be plenty of other people. Well, it doesn't matter. You're going to have to throw that out soon. He's not going to count.
Counts to me. I just won't be watching Saquon and the boys. Listen again. Let's hope we all come to a sense.
I'm praying. I'm going to go to church Sunday, by the way. First time in about 30 years, and pray that Saquon Barkley comes out with a Black Lives Matter tattoo across his chest.
He probably will. They're already out there running the streets. And you know what? Bill, they're allowed to do that. They can all come out and kneel, and they can protest, and they can say whatever they want. I'm all for it. Just don't tell me what I can't say or do. That's the one thing I can't live with.
I agree with you.
So, Bill, hopefully we get back to some. Yeah, Bill.
They got the right to do that.
Yeah. Absolutely. They got the right to do it. And I don't have to like it, but they have a right. We are not telling them they can't do it. What we're saying is we're not listening because of the message you're giving us, right? Here's the thing, Bill. I had this argument with my kids. I don't necessarily have to agree with your message, but I respect the fact that you have it, that you have this feeling. I respect it, and I'll listen to whatever you just got to say. But when you deliver the message by kneeling, I stop listening to the message. It no longer matters to me because the way you're delivering to me, you have a message. You're mad about George Floyd. Well, you rioted. Now I don't care about your message because you gave it to me the wrong way.
Exactly.
So
now it's over with, right?
You know what I'm saying? So
there's no doubt that there's not a doubt that the guy he was murdered.
Sure.
And you got the right to riot. Once you turned and started looting and hurting people and killing people, you're done. Your point is useless.
Exactly my point. So to me, the hardworking middle class of this country is not listening right now. We've stopped listening because we're being told we can't do things. You're stealing from us. You're robbing from us, and I'm not listening. If you came out and said, "Hey, listen, here's what our problems are. How do we fix it?" We're all going to listen. We all want it to be better for everybody, but I don't play the victim to me anymore. I'm tired about the people playing the victim, and I'm tired of people just deciding what other people can do. And yes, Robert Finelli, you're right. It is like pissing in the ocean, but if enough of us piss in the ocean, it'll make a big enough puddle. Somebody's got to pay attention. The problem is if it's me and 4 other people, nobody's listening. But if there's 400 million people listening, that's the difference.
Part of the problem is that the people that are protesting all of this stuff, they want to change everything overnight, and it's happening because people are listening to them.
Correct.
Turning around and saying, coming to the table, we want to talk. We want everybody to understand our position. We want to work with people so that we could live in harmony. Not that this is the way that it has to be because it's been this way for too long. I'm sure that people may actually listen to their messages more. If they turned around, somebody came up to them and turned around and said, listen, this is how we feel. We don't want to feel that way no more. We understand that, these are statues of political leaders from almost 200 years ago. We understand what the flag means and everything else. And I'm talking about the Confederate flag.
Yeah.
We understand all of this stuff. We want to be there with you. We help build the country. You said earlier that a lot of this stuff happened during times when slaves were here.
Yeah.
There were good people that owned some of those slaves.
Absolutely.
There were a lot of bad people that owned those slaves also. But there were people that owned slaves. They weren't all bad.
Nope.
They weren't all bad because some of them were treated well.
Yeah.
Some of them were they were helped. When they came up to the North, they were helped. The North fought the Civil War to free the slaves. But nobody remembers that. Nobody says anything about that.
The problem, listen, it was the norm of the day. I don't agree with. Certainly don't agree with it today. For whether they were treated good or not, they were still slaves, and it was wrong. But that was the norm of the day. And you know what? At some point in 1864, whatever it was, 1860, we woke up and said enough's enough, and people are free. Okay, so we make changes. That's why I say it all the time. We are the perfect country because we are not perfect. Because our laws breathe, they live and breathe, and they allow us to make changes. And that's what's great about our country. We rise up, say something's wrong, and we fix it, Bill. But if you come up there now and you slap us in the ass, We ain't listening to you.
That's right.
So I don't know, Billy, but hopefully we get back to some music and we get to hear you play music. And maybe you got to write a song about all this, Bill. What do you think? You think you can sit down one day and write a song that's not maybe says it all for us?
I'll put it into perspective. Yes.
I think every era has their music, and maybe somebody who thinks like we do should come out and put this to music and get it out there to the people. Just a challenge, Bill. Listen, I know you're a busy man. I know you're always doing your thing, and we love listening. And I appreciate you calling in tonight. I was happy to get your perspective, and I thank you so much. You're such a good friend to the show. You're always there for us, and I thank you so much, brother.
No problem. You guys are great. Thank you, Liz, for having me.
No, you're welcome anytime.
Anytime, Bill. Good to hear from you, man.
Don't worry, Bill. As soon as this is all over, yeah. I mean, we Jeff and I have already talked about it. We put we've already started putting a band together, and I would say sometime in September we'll probably do something once we get everybody back to doing things outside again.
Definitely.
We love you, Bill. Thank you so much, brother. You too, pal. Have a good night, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Take care, buddy.
All right, Tom. Jeff, have a good one.
You too, Bill, man. Be good, bro. I'll see you soon.
Okay, that's Billy Graz. That's Billy Graziano, one of our one of the top musicians on the island. A good man, great family, and we thank him for giving us some time tonight. And thanks to all of you guys listening out there. I'm having a hard time. I can't seem to answer you through my chat, so I'll have to just speak to my points. And listen, I see one of our guests is up. I'm waiting for our other guest, Carmine Appice, should be joining us. I see Pete Biggiani hanging in there. We're waiting for Carmine to join the thing. But in the meantime, Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom, doing a little politics tonight, getting ready to get onto the show. You seem like you want to say something, Jeff? Go ahead.
Am I going to be wrong if I ask Carmine to smile and get a picture?
No, you can do whatever you want. You could say and do whatever you want. You want to take a picture with my man?
No, fuck that guy.
Take a picture with him?
No, fuck that guy. This is going to be the closest I may ever come to meeting Carmine Appice.
That's true.
So it's going to be like, Carmine, come here, man. Get in there. They got a picture.
But listen, guys, here's my problem. Again, the NFL is just another one of those weak organizations, and it's all right. They're mad. Let's do this. You know what? They're mad at people who say things. They're mad at people who don't. They were ripping James Dolan of the Knicks this week, and I'm not a James Dolan fan. I think he screwed the Knicks up. I hope he sells the team. But he didn't come out against racism. Everybody's against racism, and if they're not, that's their prerogative. But nobody has to come out and say something. Why did we? And then people come out and say don't say anything.
That's the thing. If you didn't come out and say something, then you're racist.
Correct.
Okay, so it's just like a couple of weeks ago, everybody was posting those black squares.
Yes.
On Instagram and Facebook and everything else. That black square, if you posted it, that meant that everything was cool. You just showed you weren't a racist.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Exactly.
There's not a person on the planet right now as we speak that hasn't said an off-color joke, used a word they weren't supposed to use, has lived a perfect life to keep other races, religions, and creeds happy and honest throughout. It's impossible. Totally impossible. We've all said or did something in our lives to aggravate somebody. Now, some people did it willingly. Some people did it innocently. Yeah. But if somebody's a racist or not.
Absolutely.
And James Dolan owns a basketball team.
Well, again, but here's the thing. Why does James Dolan have to say something? But here's the point.
He employs black people. Yeah. He employs black people. How he's racist? Why would he own a basketball team?
But that's the point is, why does he have to? That's the part I don't, if you come out and say, here's the thing, they want you to come out and say, I am against racism. I am for black people. I think 99.9% of this country is for everybody. But why do we have to be just for black people or just for white people we should be for everybody. It's common sense. I don't want to see anybody get killed at all. There's no need for it. There's enough people die every day. You don't want to kill them. But Come on. I mean, and we're selective about it. You know, we got police officers, Patrick Underwood in Oakland. You got David Dorn in I think it's St. Louis. I'm not 100, maybe Milwaukee, one of those cities. You know, these poor black men were brave police officers who died. And nobody's memorializing them. There's no hearse down the street. They're not filming this for showing it on TV. Again, it's all wrong. No matter how you look at it.
That's because it's media hype.
Correct.
A lot of it is hyped up by the media. Okay. Just the same with the coronavirus and every other thing that happens nowadays. The media gets behind it and they push and they push and they push. Unfortunately for Trump and any other Republican member of the Republican Party, the media seems to be totally biased towards Democrats and is run by Democrats. They just rule everything. The louder you scream, the less you'll hear the other people. That's all it is.
Yeah, I get it, guys. It's just, listen. They're doing a remake of, and I see Carmine Appice trying to join. I think Carmine's on now. Jeff, you want to bring our guests on?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he looks like he keeps getting bumped off. But let's try to bring on guys. He's the world famous. Guys played with everybody from Vanilla Fudge, Rod Stewart, Ted Nugent, and more bands than I can answer. But I can ask. But he's now going to join us live here on the Hard Rock and Sports Show. If I can get him on.
He looks like a white dot. I never knew that.
Huh?
He looks just like a white dot. I never knew that.
Yeah, I don't see. So far, we don't have Carmine. I'm trying to get the right screen up here. Let's try him again. Add screen. Let's try him again. Nope, he's not there. Let's try Pete. No, these guys are not here. I don't know what. Oh, there's Pete. I see Pete Biggiani Jr. Hey, Pete.
What's going on, man?
He's on with us. Pete's obviously the drummer from the band Kodiak. Joins us, hopefully, along with Carmine. For some reason, Carmine's not able to get on at this point. But Pete, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I think Carmine has to hit start camera and then unmute so you can get on the thing. Because that's what I did, too. I was having trouble with it.
Okay, so hopefully Carmine will join us in a second. That's the guy up in the upper part of the screen, the handsome-looking guy. That's Jeff. That's our other co-host, and I'm Tommy. We've talked to Pete before. We had him on a few weeks back, and Pete, we're getting near the end of this whole pandemic, and people are opening up out there. And that mean there's live music coming. You guys got any thoughts on what's coming up down the road?
I hope so. I mean, I've been talking with some people, and they say that you can play shows outside now, so more like festival style things. But I haven't heard anything about shows for us yet. But maybe our booking agency will, get
off their butt and do something. Yeah. And I think I said, Carmine, you need to hit your mic cam and start that up, and that will get you on the show with us. And while we're waiting for Carmine, I want to show his book. I've read Stick It. Have you? Let me ask you, Pete. You're obviously very young and weren't around for most of Carmine's golden early years. But have you read the book?
Yeah, I actually helped ship it out. That was when I first started. I hold on. Carmine texted me. I'm trying to help him get on. Unmute and start camera. When I was like really young and that book started to go out, he needed somebody to help him ship out the books and do like a bunch of stuff for him, like with the book. So I would go over to his house and I would help him ship out the books and bring them to the post office and go to the book signings and help him with the stand-ups and stuff like that.
So let's do a little talking about why we got you before Carmine gets on, and Jeff's anxiously waiting for that as well. What's it like when you first you're sitting in front of Carmine? It's one thing, you know he's a world famous drummer. You maybe get to play drums in front of him, but what's it like the first couple of times you guys practice in front of him, or you're playing your music for him? Is there a little bit of are you nervous? Are you like, who is this guy? I mean, what's the thoughts when you guys are first sitting down with him?
Not really. I mean, when I met Carmine when I was 11, because I did a contest through Modern Drummer, and I did a DVD with Carmine, and that's how I kind of met him. So I actually played drums in front of him when I was about 11 years old. So I was really comfortable getting into it. Maybe the other guys not so much, but I know I was comfortable.
That's great. And again, we're talking with Pete Biggiani Jr. And this Kodiak. I'm going to get them up on the screen here in a second. I got their video. I got one of their videos playing here. We'll put that in the background. We're waiting for Carmine and have some fun. What's it like making a video when you watch them all your life and you and then when you first get to do it, how much fun is it for you? Or is it a lot of work?
It's fun. It's like a lot of going through footage. So like all this stuff, like this is in Texas. That's in LA. Yeah, that's LA. That's on a beach in New Jersey. And I think the next one, that's LA again. That's me opening up my shirt.
Do you ever ask you to do something and you're like, I can't do that. I'm not doing that. What do you ever go, oh, there's no way I'm doing that. Put it on a video.
Carmine says that he can't access mic and camera shutting down. That's weird. Yeah, I mean, like I never really had that problem before.
Okay. So nobody's asked you to do anything crazy that you said, I'm not doing that.
No, I've always done everything. Every time someone asks me to do something, I'm just always like, yeah, I'll do it.
So, let me ask you this. So, Carmine, I was good. One of the things I want to talk to Carmine about tonight, and I don't know if Jeff's ever interested about this, but, especially back in the 70s, it seemed like all these guys would check into a hotel and then trash it. Like, I just never understood it. So,
everything's bolted down now. You can't do that anymore.
Well, I guess that's fine. Right, Jeff? I mean, it's kind of crazy if you think about it.
I got to honestly say, Tom, I don't go to hotels much, so I don't get to trash them as much as I would like.
But Jeff, if you were a big rock star, would that be something you'd want to do? Is go into your room, check in, put your clothes away, and then start throwing the TV out the window?
If I was a rock star, I would want to burn down the neighborhood. Never mind just wreck the TV, rooms and the television.
Yeah,
I want to leave my mark. I want people to know I was there, without a doubt.
So, Pete, what's going to be when you guys are big and famous and you're checking into hotels and traveling? What's going to be your thing? Is it going to be throwing TV out the window? Is it what's it going to be for you guys?
We have somebody that goes out on the road with us. So he's like our dad. So like my dad will fly out to LA and he'll be there with us and stuff like that. But like we have like a tour manager that'll go out with us, and he really makes sure that we don't do anything that bad, but like we get into some trouble. Like we've done some stuff,
I remember going out. Well, Jeff, I'll tell you guys a fair story. My brother in the early '90s was in a band. They got signed by Warner Brothers. Did the whole thing, and then grunge came in and squashed it. But in the short amount of time that they were signed, I went out to LA, and one night I'm sleeping. It's about 2 a.m. in LA, and I hear things crashing. And all of a sudden, I go out of the apartment. I walk up, and I follow the noise. And my brother and his bandmates were throwing their own furniture and TVs off the roof of the building into the street. And I just looked up and said, guys, this is your stuff. Like, why would you trash your own stuff? And they weren't in a hotel. They were bored, and they just started throwing things out the window or off the roof. And I guess that's just the life of the rock stars. I don't think I could do that, Jeff. But
Dude, you want to hear a good one, man? I heard this once someplace, I forget where. It was probably the greatest one I've ever heard.
Go ahead.
It involved Keith Moon. All right, they had to get him to an airport by a certain time so that he would get on his plane. And he was the airport was like an hour away. So like halfway through the ride, he goes, "You got to go back to the hotel room." So they're like, "Why? What's the matter?" He goes, "Just you got to take me back. It's important. Hurry up, get me back." So they're like, "All right, we're gonna miss the plane and this, that, and the other thing." They bring him back to the hotel. He goes in. He's gone for a few minutes. He comes back, running back. He's like, "All right, now we can leave." But they noticed they didn't have anything with him. So they're like, "Well, what did you have to go upstairs for?" And he's like, "There was a TV that I forgot to break." So I had to run upstairs.
There he is.
TV and then leave the fucking room.
I think I see Carmine. Speaking of breaking it, trashing hotel rooms, the guy who's probably perfected it is finally here. Let's bring on Carmine Appice to join Pete Biggiani Jr., Jeff Tawinski, and myself here on the Hard Rock and Sports Show. And there he is.
Yeah,
I had to shut the computer down. I don't know why. It said that my camera was in use.
Well, we're happy to have you, Carmine. I'm Tom. Up on the corner is Jeff, and I think you know the guy sitting next to you right there.
Yeah. What's up, Pete? I'm in the office, Pete, looking at the canal.
Ooh. How's Moses?
We took him swimming today. Yesterday
Did you
and
really?
today. Yeah, I got to send you the video.
Oh my God, please. I would love it.
Hilarious.
Carmine, welcome. I Carmine, one day, first thing, I bought the book from the last time we spoke.
Ah.
An amazing book. Only knock is that it wasn't longer. It was such a great book. I went through it in about 2 days. It was amazing.
Yeah, if my writer, I had more in there. He said we didn't want to make it too long. We want to make it a good, quick read.
Well, it certainly was. It was great. Carmine, we've been talking the last few minutes about trashing hotel rooms, so I got to ask Esther. Tell us, what was the thought process back in the day, checking into your hotel room and trashing it? What was it about rock stars in the 70s and trashing hotel rooms?
Well, when you come off a gig and you're like high energy, you get back to the hotel and there's no TV. Back in the day, there was 3 channels, 4 channels, and there's nothing to do. And if you didn't have a party going on, you just started trashing hotels. That's simple.
I guess it's that. Was there a sport to it? Like, was it you had to do certain things?
Oh, yeah. No. You just developed it. I mean, it got to the point, as you read in the book, where the manager said, well, look, I don't want to charge Tim for Carmine's wrecking and vice versa. So he told the tour manager, when Carmine wrecks something, I want to know what he wrecked so we can charge his account. And then it got stupid. It would be like Tim Bogut would call the tour manager, Mark, can you come in my room? Come in. So he goes in the room and he throws the TV out the window and he'll write Tim, one TV. And then it got crazy. It got stupid. But, especially like when we were out with the Faces, we wrecked their rent-a-car. They would wreck our rent-a-car. And then we met them at the Pocono Festival and we pulled in with our truck. And they were ready to destroy the truck. And we said, no, dude, this is our truck. It's not a rental truck. So,
if you read the book, they would like take their rented cars or the trucks they rented for and they would smash them into each other. And it was like, didn't somebody realize that at some point?
That's because the truck died. And, it was stuck in the parking lot of the hotel. So when we got back from the gig, we had to go through big hassles over the truck. So Rusty Day, our singers, we knew he was going to do it, so we all got out of the car. And we saw it from a distance. It's like,
Jeff, we missed it, Jeff. We should have been rock stars. It sound like they had a lot of fun. We did. But I tell you the thing, on that particular day, we have a truck that didn't work and a rent-a-car that was stuck under the truck. We had to pull it out. We said to our tour manager, we got to get out of this state. And this was upstate New York. We lived in Long Island. He said, you live in this state. We said, oh, well, let's get out of here quick. So we got out of there. We thought we were getting away with it, but it ends up our accountant got all the bills, and we ended up paying them. At the end of the band, we're wondering why there was no money. That's why. We spent thousands upon thousands of dollars on hotel wrecking.
Yeah, but you have classic stories that can't be beat,
I was going to call the book "The International Rock Guide to Hotel Wrecking."
We were asking Pete if he had some a professional move coming up, or what was going to be their move when they got to be big and famous, and they can go and do things. And he says now we have basically a chaperone, and now they nail down and screw down all the furniture, so you can't.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. The band, you guys, they got too much to do. You come up from the gig, you got FaceTime, you got Facebook, you got to work your social media. It's not like we didn't have to do anything. We had the record company promoted and sold the records. The manager booked everything and booked the hotels, travel agent. All we did was go out and play, maybe drive, and the tour managers drove, so we've been spoiled all our life,
We're talking with, of course, Carmine Appice, Pete Biggiani Jr., Jeff and Tom here, Hard Rock and Sports Guys. Make sure you keep us on and find us right now on our Facebook page live with our via our live stream. So thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Obviously, Carmine, you've seen it all, you've done it all. In today's day and age, it's completely different. I mean, there's no resemblance to the rock scene when you grew up, when you were in it with Vanilla Fudge and all the other bands. So today, what message can you give bands like Pete's and others about how to be successful? You know, what today can make a band successful?
All I could say is I don't really know. Okay,
that's honest.
We're just winging it with Pete and Kodiak. You know, I thought I knew, you know, a good song. I thought I knew, you know, the business, but it's a whole different business. You know, this social media thing, I don't get it. I don't know how to work it. Pete knows how to work it. Kids know how to work it.
Just a little bit.
Us old guys don't know how to work it. Now, we have a friend of mine that works for Primary Wave. That's all they do. They promote bands like Def Leppard and Scorpions, and they work all the social media, but they hire them, you know. But the record companies usually hire them. So, you know, it's like, it's a whole different world. There's no radio to play these guys, you know.
Yeah, so Pete, you know, Carmine's got a point. I mean, you know, back in the old days, it was play showcases. It was get to know the DJs and general manager radio stations and get your song played. So Pete, today, what's the secret today? I mean, what do bands that are successful do to get noticed like Carmine and be able to go wreck hotel rooms afterwards?
It's all about Spotify playlisting. So you have to have a song that's a hit. And then you take that song, and then Allie, who's head of rock over at Spotify, she takes your song and puts it on a playlist, and that goes out to millions of people. But you have to have that one specific song before you go to Allie. So that's how you really break in. And then also doing videos. Like we just put out a song called Redline. It's like a COVID, it's like kind of like this with the 4 boxes, but it's each one of us. And we put it out, and you did promotion on it. And we have like 30,000 views on it right now. And that's only in like a week and a half or like 2 weeks. So it's a lot of promotion. It's a lot of pushing on social media, having people share it and actually like it. Because if no one shares it and actually likes it, then it's not going to do anything. So
let me ask you guys this. Does it make sense? Carmine, I'll ask you first, and then Pete, I'll get the different perspective from you. Carmine, does it make sense nowadays to put out full albums? Does it make more sense to put out singles and videos and kind of just, you know, instead of pushing it on people, kind of feed them a little at a time? Does it make more sense to do that?
Well, it's not an album market anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pop. It's not even a rock market anymore.
Yeah.
It's a singles kind of.
It's a single pop-oriented, you know, almost dancing market. You know, those are the ones that are huge. Like, you know, all this stuff that's danceable and, you know, drum machines and all that. That's why there's no more rock idols, like, you know, superstar drummers and superstar guitar players, because it ain't about guitar players. All the people that are making music, it's all being done on computers. It's all computer music. There's nothing real about it. And so it's a whole different business. It's not a rock business anymore.
Yeah. So Pete, so listening to Carmine, and he's right. When you guys are writing your songs, and before you get to Carmine with them, and he produces them or gives you his take on it, do you feel like you have to stay true to who yourself, or do you kind of change things and try to fit into what's out there today?
Me and Chris, when we sit down to write, it's always about what we like, because at the end of the day, I want to be happy with what I do no matter what. But again, like, you're going into it knowing that you're going to have to put this out to the masses, so you do have to give that little bit of appeal and that little bit of a catchy kind of riff and stuff like that. But no, I mean, we go into it and we know that, like, we want to write what we want to write, and it turns out that people like it, and just appealing to the masses. And it is a singles-based industry now. It's not albums anymore. No one has the attention span to do albums anymore.
That's the funny thing. And we're working with a label that once this virus thing's over, hopefully they'll sign Kodiak. They really love the band, and we've been talking about it, and they've been giving us ideas. So they gave us a couple ideas to, one specific idea to cover a song, which we don't have to talk about it yet until it comes out. But, and then I wrote this Christmas song I played for them, and they liked that. They said, well, they should cut that too, you know? So And the way they break a band is that they told me they put them on tour with one of their big bands, and they act like the agent, this record company. So if that happens, and they go out with a bigger band, the record's out, they do have an album, but they're going to be pushing a single, and they end up getting, more attention and more Spotify ads and more Facebook and all that stuff, and then that's how it happens, I guess.
Yeah, here's the thing, guys, and I want to get to some other stuff, but I think today's youth missed out on something, Carmine. Jeff and I, we know each other 40 years, and as kids, teenagers, we would get on a bus and go to our local record store and thumb through and look for something, or ask the guy behind the counter what's the hot thing, and you discover and I think. And you'd play an entire album, and you'd have to, because you wanted to make sure you didn't miss one good song on it. And sometimes an album had one good song, right, Jeff? I think,
of course, sometimes the best song was the one that they weren't playing on the radio, that you would hear something better on side 2 or the B side.
Yeah, and I think the kids of today, Carmine, they've missed out on something that was really.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You used to go to the record store, you used to look and see who's playing on the album. You open up the album cover and see, it's Jeff Beck playing guitar, or Tim Bogert playing bass, or Blue Murder. You got John Sykes playing. Now they just download it.
Yeah,
they don't know who's playing what, so that's why there's no heroes anymore.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Because we used to talk about that. How many albums we bought because the cover was cool.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then maybe you went home and you got a good couple songs out of it, but you read and you recognized the names.
It's really, it's terrible. And then there's other things that the kids get into, video games and, whatever else they get into, social media. Everybody's recording their own records, putting them out. It's flooding the market with a bunch of crap.
Yeah, it's weeding through all of that. And guys, of course, we're talking with the legendary Carmine Appice, Pete Biggiani.
Hey, it's Appice. It's Vinny Appice.
I don't get YouTube guys. I don't know how you guys do it, but okay, we get it. Jeff Twinsky up in the corner. I'm Tom Flory, Hard Rock and Sports every Thursday night, 6:30 to 9:30. Make sure you guys check us out on Spotify, and also go to our website, Hard Rock.
You got to check out my show tomorrow.
I was just going to say, Hanging and Banging with Carmine and Vinny.
Yeah, we just switched over to this the program that you're using.
Oh, you did?
StreamYard, because I did an interview with someone. It was Tuesday, and it was awesome. So easy to get on.
It's a great little platform.
And you haven't used any of the things you can do with it. You can move things around. You could come up with one guy who's talking full screen effects and.
Oh yeah, listen, I can move you guys around a lot.
Yeah.
I can do all of that stuff.
And you don't have, when I did it the other day, they had the people typing in. You could see what people are typing in. It was awesome.
Yeah, and they're doing it now. So that's the fun of this. I love this platform. Carmine, before we lose you guys, and God forbid, I got to ask a couple things. Your book, there's a couple things in the book I got to ask about. First off, your walking history. You had Drinks with Paul Vario. If anybody doesn't know who Paul Vario is, he was the head guy. If you watch the movie Goodfellas.
No, I didn't have drinks with Paul Vario. I had drinks with the real guy.
That's what I'm saying.
That was Paul Vario.
That's Paul Vario.
I'm sorry. That was his name. Yeah, Paul. We used to just call him Paulie.
Paulie, Drinks with Paulie. You bought swag from Henry Hill.
Yeah.
And Phil Basile who was all part of that crew, was your manager for years. What's it like? Honestly, at the time, did you realize who these people were? And then later on, when the movie came out and all, did you go, holy cow, that's the people I was hanging out with?
Yeah, when the movie came out, it was quite shocking. And some people I was hanging out with said, you knew those guys that like killers? I said, well, they weren't killing anybody when we knew them, around us, but they were, they were mafia. They were wild, but they were nice people when you hung out with them,
But it's crazy. You think about it, Jeff. Like you spend time with these people. You're buying something out of a trunk of a car for some guy Henry, and then 20 years later, you realize the guy was a killer, and then he's just a complete maniac.
Well, I don't think Henry was the killer, but our manager always said, if Paulie asks you to go over the house, go over out of respect. Mm-hmm. One time Vanilla Fudge had to play this club called Tempo Dance City, which Henry Hill was the front for, because they did some favors for my manager that helped the band. Not only our band, Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, all the bands that our attorney represented, they were trying to get in on that, and Paulie helped out. So in return, we had to play a gig that we would have got 15 grand for nothing. That was to return the favor.
Wow. And you mentioned Jimi Hendrix, but you met Jimi Hendrix when he was Jimmy James.
Yeah, I did.
And
you really did read the book.
I read every inch of that book. It was a great, I'm telling you, flat out, it was a great read. It's one of those books, a few months from now, I'll reread it because it was such a great read. But when you first heard him play, tell everybody what your thoughts were.
Well, look, everybody's built up Jimi Hendrix to a god these days. Back then, he was just another guy playing in the clubs. There was another guy named Ronnie Lejack that we played with that played just like Jimi Hendrix. Played a Stratocaster with a distortion and bending the strings, and he sang blues. He played harmonica. Another guy in the session world called the Wizard played like that. So there was a bunch of guys that played like that. But Jimmy was always a bit more flamboyant with the outfits and all that. So it wasn't about when I heard the first album, I loved it. And then when I saw the pictures of him playing with his teeth, I said, man, that's Jimmy James. And then, I saw him in England, and I mentioned gigs that we played together, and he remembered. And then he said, what are you doing there? I said, I play with the Vanilla Fudge. He goes, I love the Fudge. And we became friends, and we hung out. And we played gigs, a lot of gigs together. Recorded at his studio, recorded with him at the record plant, jammed with him. He was just another rock star. In those days, we all had records out. We were all famous. All the records got played. We all toured together. It wasn't a business yet.
Yeah, it slowly became a business now that people can't. Another one I wanted to ask you about was, okay, so the last time you were on with us, we talked about the Ozzy and Sharon and all that happened there, and that was and I read the book. It was a little bit bigger. Was more to it. But the Rod Stewart one, I don't know if you really explained it in the book what happened. 1 minute you're writing some of the biggest songs in history. You're playing in one of the biggest bands. And then 1 minute, and seemed like you were very close to him. You were going to his house. You were meeting all these celebrities. And the next minute he was gone. What happened in the Rod Stewart? It seemed to be
I think it was drugs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that in those days, in 81, 82, there was a lot of cocaine and a lot of drinking, and this guy, Jim Cregan, who played with Rod, he was always jealous of my name and my popularity. And he was always in Rod's ear. I think that's what happened.
Wow. Because it seemed like the band was doing well. Obviously,
it was doing great. And then we were supposedly co-producing that album with Young Turks on it. Mm-hmm. So, by Jim, he was co-producing with me. And in the end, he got Rod to drop me as a co-producer and just keep Jim. But while I was co-producing, Jim suggested to bring Tony Brock in to play on a couple of tracks, which was okay because we did that on all the albums. We usually got a session guy that played different than me. But Tony Brock was, in my genre of playing. But I said, okay, no problem, because I'm co-producing. That's, I wanted to bring up the co-production thing, in more of a producer. So I let it go. And then in the end, he blew my co-production out. So then it didn't look like, it looked like they were just kind of replacing me. Even though I wrote the big hit on that song with Dwayne Hitchings, so.
Yeah.
But what did Rod say at the beginning of the book?
Oh, yeah.
He said, I fired Carmine. Fuck knows why.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I can't tell from the book whether you were more disappointed there or more disappointed that the stuff with Jeff Beck didn't work out, because BBA should have been a huge band. He seemed to be a little bit, and for some reason, just like you said in the book, you can never stay mad at the guy. But was it more disappointing that BBA didn't work out, or that you got let go of Rod?
Well, I think the Rod thing was so much bigger. It was, BBA was big. We were like theater big in some places. small arenas. But Rod was so big when I was with him.
You know what's funny? I saw Rod about 3 years ago. I'm not going to claim to be the biggest Rod Stewart fan. It's just not my type of music. But I saw him about 3 years. I took my wife to a place in Camden, New Jersey, to see him, and he sounded great. With the music, he started dancing on stage. It just didn't look good for me. It was a little disturbing. But amazing voice still in his 70s. And
and then when I was with him, he didn't dance. He ran all over the stage.
Yeah,
he was jumping up on things, laying down on the floor. I mean, he was the best front man around in those days. He was the best.
Let's talk about, before we lose you, let's talk about Hanging and Banging. So what's Hanging and Banging? I know tomorrow night you have a show at 6 o'clock with Vinny and Eric Singer.
7 o'clock. 7 o'clock.
It says 6 on my notes, but that's okay. 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Tell us about Hanging and Banging. What do you guys do?
Well, it's basically doing what we're doing, except we bring it on rock star friends. First time I did it myself, then I brought Vinny on. And last week we did it with Derek Sherinian, who plays with Sons of Apollo, and Alice Cooper. He played with everybody. And he's a keyboard player. And I helped start him in the business. And he suggested bringing Eric on because I started Eric in the business through my drum offs, the drum contest. He was discovered at my drum off by Lita Ford. So I called Eric and he said, "Yeah, I'd love to come on." And then we were having problems last week with the format, so we ended up just doing it on Skype. And then when I did it with Eric's friend this week, he had the StreamYard. I called the guy, said, "You got to do StreamYard. That's the way to go. It's easy. You could do a lot with it." And so you just right after this, I have to do a test with them on StreamYard.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, and last thing for me on this one, comment is your videos. I mean, now you seem to be a champion all over Facebook. I see all these. You come on, you play the drum parts, and people are guessing. It's got to be a lot of fun for you to be able to kind of connect with people so easily. You could be in your house, still connect and play your music and get it out to people. Is this a nice way to do this now?
Yeah. Oh yeah. For me, I never got so into the Facebook thing until this quarantine thing because, there was no way to connect with your fans. I went out on the road, and I don't think we're going to be out on the road until next year. So I did a few, and people seemed to like it, so I kept doing it. And then before I left our house in Connecticut, I must have done another 10 songs. And I put them up every 2 or 3 days and just watch what happens. And I go down the line and people guess. I'll say, "No, that's not it." Or, "Yes, that's it." And people seem to like it,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to keep connecting with your fans. I know you got a lot to do. I know you got things place to be, so I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. But Pete, so now, guys, the rest of the year is probably shot. But what's the future for Kodiak? What's the future for the band? Going forward, is there some sort of plan being formulated, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I hope that the record deal still works out after all this is done because that's like a big thing that was coming up for us this year, and then a lot of touring. I want to do like a lot of touring. So
yeah, I mean, it's really like everybody else. There really are no plans.
Yeah,
because we have a Cactus record we're finishing, but everyone says, "You're going to release in the fall." I said, "I don't think so. I'll probably release it next year because you got to be able to go out and back the songs, with touring of some sort, So they can't tour anywhere unless there's no gigs anywhere.
No, all the big festivals all been canceled. There's no gigs. Yeah, I saw everything being canceled. Not even. I guess people will wait till next year, and hopefully, if this is in the rearview mirror and we get back to some sort of semblance of normalcy, and hopefully you guys
look what's going on around the country. I mean, it's like a civil war going on.
Yeah, we spent about 45 minutes before you came on to having this conversation. I
mean, you see what's going on in Seattle?
Yeah, scary.
That's crazy. And then every city. I mean, they're firing rifle fires and pistol fires and, and fires and people being killed. I mean, what are we doing? What happened to this country?
Yeah. Well, again, until somebody pushes back, this is what we're getting. And Carmine, I started the show off, and I believe that everybody should have their opinion, but you should not. And right now, the left is trying to squash it's their opinion or no opinion, and I think it's wrong.
Yeah, totally. I mean, totally. I mean, they talk about Obama being the great president. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I mean, I think I'm not a Democrat, Republican, but man, Trump, look what Trump did for this country. I mean, the economy, everybody was working, everything was great. And they're saying, oh, he didn't handle the virus. What are you going to do? You think Obama would have handled it better? Probably not.
Yeah, and listen,
it's never happened before.
Yeah, it was a new playbook, and nobody had one for it. And here's the thing: we open up the show, and I say the same thing. If God forbid Joe Biden gets into office, we are doomed as a country. I notice that we're not going to make this political, but you can hate Trump all you want, but Joe Biden will sink this country.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, economically, everybody was doing great.
Sure.
And that's really what's it about. What's it about? The country being successful as a country. I mean, this stuff where this guy got killed. Okay, how many white guys did the cop kill?
Yeah.
It was everybody, go on the news. No, and it's the news killing this country. They're killing it. They're making these guys crazy with news, so they go out and do this stuff.
Yeah, listen, like Jeff said, somebody's got to do something, and it takes people like us in the middle class of this country to step up and say enough's enough. And you're not going to defund the police, you're not going to abolish the police, and we're going to have law.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like totally crazy. Yeah. I mean, as Trump said I guess he said to the governor of Washington, get it together or we'll fix it. And get the National Guard in there. I mean, that's what it needs. This is like civil war.
Yeah, let's hope cooler heads prevail, and they don't ban the national anthem at sporting events, and in November.
Yeah.
I can only hope that this guy gets back in.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I hope, and that's all I can say. But guys, I'm going to let you guys go. I appreciate it, Pete Biggiani. Thank you so much, Carmine. You're a gentleman. Everybody's got to read. Stick it. If you got time,
stick it.
You got to read. Stick it.
You can get an autographed copy on my website. Where'd you get yours?
I got
on my website.
I think I got it through your website. My wife got it for me, but she did not get me the autograph version, so I might have to purchase the autograph version. So.
No, if you got it on my website, you didn't get it from me.
Then I'm not sure.
If it was an autograph, you didn't get it from me.
Okay, well, then I'll have to talk to my wife about that. So, Carmine, thank you so much. Good luck with hanging and banging. Tell your brother we said hello. It's only because through him that we got you on the show to begin with. And good luck, and please keep doing what you're doing. We love the videos, and hopefully we'll get you out there live soon.
Yep, I just put up a new video yesterday.
We will definitely take
it. Did you guess it?
I did not see the latest one. I've only guessed one, and I think it was.
Which one did you guess?
I'm trying to remember which one it was now. One of the first ones you did.
Okay.
Drawing a blank.
Blue Murder.
That's the one I got. That's the one I got.
It's probably Valley of the Kings.
Great stuff. They're a lot of fun, but they're tough. You got such a big catalog of music.
I know.
It's so tough to pick it
out.
Okay,
man. And my next book is going to be Guitar Zeus, the book.
Oh, that's going to be fun. That's
still great. All about every guitar player I ever worked with.
Oh, that's great. Looking forward to that. And hopefully you'll come back on and we'll get to help you promote it. And Pete, good luck to you and Kodiak. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
And good luck to you guys. And we'll hopefully see you guys again. Carmine?
Pete, I'll text you the video.
Yeah, do that. Bye, guys. I'll see you later, all right?
See you guys. Bye. Bye-bye.
You good.
That's Carmine Appice and Pete Biggiani, and we're back with Hard Rocket Sports, Jeff and Tom. What are you shaking your head for?
You got to stop. You just got to stop.
What are you doing right now?
Fucking hold up a sign. We're on video now. Things are different. Okay? I have no problem with just being like, yo, time to go. I'll just hold up a sign and be like 30 seconds.
I wish you would. Listen, I can't help it. Sometimes
no, stop. Listen, stop. There's no need. Nobody wants to hear this. Nobody wants to hear this. Matter of fact, if you go over here to the right-hand side, you go to live comments.
Yeah.
Nobody has said anything in God knows how long.
Well, that's not true because I see Louis Pica said,
did
you inspire Carmine to write that? Louis, I did inspire Carmine to write that. Jeff, where'd you go? Jeff, Oh, it seems like Jeff's disappeared. He took himself off the air. So again, we're here. What's up, Joe Flynn? Louis Pica, thanks for checking in. That was Carmine Appice, Pete Biggiani Jr. So we were here at Hard Rocket Sports. We've been doing a little bit of politics tonight. Again, I'll say it a million times. We are doomed. We are doomed. We are doomed. I will tell you this: we are doomed if we elect Joe Biden in November. We will have no voice ever. We need to stand up, and we need to get my boy Don Trump back in the off. Get back out there. Hey, Don, come on. We got to elect Don again. Right, Don? Yep. See, even he agrees. I don't know what happened to Jeff. Hopefully he'll get back in with us. Here he is. I think he's back now. What'd you log yourself out?
I hit the wrong button. I meant to say little live comments before. There was live comments. People were talking. And all of a sudden, it just stopped dead. And then just as like everything, you see it rolling around. You can see the exit. And you're like, oh, but one more thing. Let me ask you, what exactly was your mindset back in January of 1960?
That's not true.
Get back for the first time.
True. You're so full of it. I can only react to the guests.
Listen, I can only say so many things.
Go ahead.
I still have a few hours left.
Yep.
So I'm back on Facebook that I can interact there.
Yeah, when are you up?
That hairstyle looks familiar.
Which one?
Carmine, Mr. Appice's.
It looks familiar.
Yes, it does. Let me see. Let's see.
Be careful. That's a legend you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to see. I think I sent it to you. Let me see.
Are you trying to say that his hair was hanging on a shelf somewhere?
I think it meowed at one point in time earlier in the day. Yeah.
Yes, Louis, we enjoyed Carmine too. He was on for a good 45 minutes with us.
Is that Louis Pica?
Louis Pica's checking in saying hello.
Lou, have I insulted you yet today?
Let's see. Your cousin Allison is saying hello to you.
Hi, Allison.
So hello to Allison. Joe Flynn, how you doing?
Joe Flynn, stop. Man, look what Joe Flynn's last comment. I can see the Facebook comments here. It says stop. Joe, that's what they said to Detroit. Stop. You're not going to do it.
I want to remind everybody next Thursday night, Ron Bloomberg will be our guest on the show. The first DH ever. I think it's if you guys get a chance to follow Ron Bloomberg on Facebook, he is hysterical, tells the best stories. He's got some great Thurman Munson stuff that I can't wait to get on the air with, Jeff. I mean, the guy is...
I'm just remembering what Thurman Munson looked like. Tell me Thurman Munson's not the kind of guy that before a game you could see him eating like 3 or 4 different fucking bratwursts, a couple of beers, and then absolutely punishing the Empire trying to play for the entire game.
It's funny. You know what's funny? I remember as a kid, I don't know if it was a 77 or 78 World Series, and they were in the locker room. It was after the games, after the series was over, and they were celebrating. And they pulled Munson in, and he came in, and he had he had an armful of beer, cans of beer. And they were like, "Thurman, I told you, I'm just gonna drink my beer." He was just being him, and he had this armful of beer. It was like the funniest thing ever. And I remember being 10 or 11 years old, going, "Wow, baseball players drink beer? Oh my God, I can't believe baseball players drink beer." I mean, they're probably doing lines of Coke in the back.
Oh yeah, just think a few years later with the Pittsburgh fucking
the Pirates.
God only knows what the fuck they were. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you want me to send it to you, but I got a couple pictures snuck them of us with Carmine Appice, man.
Oh, did you really?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. I was like, that guy Pete, after a while, I was like, he's got to go.
Yeah.
There's a way to be like, click. Oh shit. Man.
Well, if you should have clicked me, I would have minimized his picture, so we would just been me, you, and Carmine.
Dude, it didn't matter because I was telling you. Let me see. I erased got erased when I got thrown off. When I was like, bring it on home. Here's your chance. You know, and you were looking to get out of Dodge, and I'm telling you, well, come on, let's do this. Then you're over there like, well, one more thing I got to ask you about.
You stop with it. By the way, Louis Pica says you haven't offended him yet, but he's offended that Elmer Fudd has his gun taken away. And we didn't get to that.
That is offensive, man. That is offensive.
How ridiculous is our country when you're going to reissue? Now, first off, I am not the biggest Bugs Bunny fan in the whole world. I never really got the Bugs Bunny thing. But there was some great episodes. I'll be the first to admit there was Yosemite Sam stuff was great, and baseball Bugs Bunny was a good one.
Listen, you got to think when you're talking Bugs Bunny, right?
Yeah.
Real quick, for those that don't know, but when you're talking Bugs Bunny, you're talking something that came on in the fucking 40s. When me and you were younger watching TV, that's offensive. When we were younger watching TV, if Bugs Bunny was on, that meant there was no other cartoons on. You couldn't change channels and go someplace else. That's all there was Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, it's the truth.
I mean? So it's like, yeah, you had no choice but to like Bugs Bunny.
I remember getting up in the morning to go to school, and there was nothing on but I think maybe some news, and one channel had cartoons, and it didn't matter what was on, you were watching it. And most of the time it was Bugs Bunny at that point.
You remember Heckle and Jekyll?
Oh, hated it, but I watched it, sure.
I used to like Heckle and Jekyll, and they had it was like a show, like a variety show of cartoons. They had this other guy, Hector Heathcote. Do you remember Hector Heathcote?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Remember the one with pickled herring? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that specifically.
Oh, man, I do. That was great because they had him on a boat or something. He was getting seasick, and they were like pickled herring. It was like, oh, and he was pretending to throw up. Great stuff, man. Great stuff.
Yeah, listen, it was all good stuff, but again, but here's the hypocrisy. So now they're going to reboot the Bugs Bunny thing. And okay, you want to redo it? I think it's cool. I think the kids would maybe like it, but now it's not right for Elmer Fudd to have a gun. They're giving him a sickle. What is he? Death? Now Elmer Fudd's going to go around and hack the Bugs Bunny to death. I mean, is that any better than shooting Bugs Bunny?
Well, if anything, it's more violent, no?
Yeah, Louis Pickens said he lost his guns too. Hi, Catherine, how are you?
Best part is that Elmer Fudd never shot anybody but that motherfucker should get shot. But Elmer Fudd never shot him. He would shoot himself, but he never shot fucking. I
agree. Yeah,
never.
By the way, guys, if anybody wants to know, I collect the moose is the official mascot of the Hard Rock and Sports Show.
What the fuck?
It's my moose. It's my moose shot glass.
A moose shot glass?
Yeah, it kind of sits the moose down here, but I keep it up on my desk.
Oh, God.
And it goes with Jeff's. Over the years, I've gotten at least two mugs. I got a towel here with the moose on it. I got a Christmas ornament from Jeff. So, yes, and that's the point, Joe Flynn. You're right. Nobody dies in those cartoons, and if anything, it shows that what's the big deal. But here's the thing. Lighten up. Who cares? But again, we're letting them do these things. You know what? I hope nobody watches the Bugs Bunny cartoons and they go out of business and they go home and kill themselves because they got no money for making decisions like that. I hope the studio executives
little rough, isn't it?
No. I want them to kill themselves. And you know what? Let's go back to Roger Goodell in the NFL. Your sellouts. I hope nobody watches. And I promise if the New York Giants do not play the national anthem before the games, I promise. Now, listen, if they want to tell people they don't have to stand, that's their business. If they don't play the national anthem, I stop watching. I love my Giants. I will stop watching.
You say about them saying that they don't have to stand.
Yeah.
If you go to a live sporting event, the first thing they say is, would you please stand?
Correct.
They ask you to stand. They don't say it is mandatory to stand. They say, will you please rise? Will you please stand for the playing of our national anthem?
Agreed.
Okay? Now, they're already giving you the out to not stand or whatever if you don't want to. That's up to you because they say it right before they play it. But, I mean, come on. Like we said earlier, 2.5 minutes, just fucking stand up for the fucking anthem. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, again, it's just ridiculous. But here's the thing: all these, again, it's you have to make a statement. Why? If somebody doesn't want to make a statement, somebody doesn't want to join the fray, stay out of it. That's fine. I'm okay with it. If you want to weigh in, you weigh in. But to pander, we made a mistake. NFL didn't make a mistake. People should not have been kneeling for the anthem. And if you want to kneel, that's your business. But in the NFL rule book, it says that at the playing of the national anthem, you will stand, have your helmet in your left hand, and you will stand for the national anthem. If you don't want to do it, change the rules.
You just said something that the NFL is backpedaled and everything else, saying that they made a mistake. You didn't make a mistake. All right, you're changing your stance because of the pressure, peer pressure, public pressure.
Yeah.
Drew Brees came on, said what he had to say, which to me was 100% spot on. Nothing wrong with what he was saying, what he said. Then less than 24 hours later is basically fighting for his life, is being ostracized by certain teammates and certain people in the NFL. Okay, but the people that are in the NFL, you don't understand what he's saying. Are you actually?
Yeah.
Drew Brees doesn't understand your point, but yet you're not understanding. You're not even taking the time to even trying to decipher exactly what Drew Brees is saying. Because if you did, you would have fucking agreed with it.
Agreed. And again, even if you don't, he has the right to have his opinion. It doesn't mean he's a racist. No, I got that you don't now.
No,
Jeff,
after that day, no. That's it.
There's a soccer player who played for the Seattle team in the MSL or MLS, whatever they call it, Major League Soccer. The guy's wife put up some sort of I don't know if it was an anti-Black Matters or Black Lives Matters, or if it was a pro all lives matter. I'm not sure. Or maybe it was a pro police. I forget about what the post actually was. The guy's wife put it up, got a little backlash, took it down immediately. Do you know they cut this guy from the team? The guy didn't even know his wife put it up, had no business with it.
I think I saw that.
And they actually, they called it firing. They actually got rid of the guy because his wife put up a post that was her right to say, nothing wrong with it. But before anybody even knew it, the team went, we better get rid of him. For what? There was a coach. All he did was like a All Lives Matter post or some sort of social media. The guy was fired for it.
Yeah, because you know what?
Minds.
All of a sudden, all lives matter means that you're racist. All lives matter. It can only be, I believe, I'm correct me if I'm wrong, because they change it from time to time, like every 10 minutes, it seems. I believe Black Lives Matter is fine.
Yes.
Okay. And also correct me if I'm wrong. This is real quick. The rap group NWA, didn't they put out an album one time called Fear of a Black Planet?
That I'm not sure. I'd have to look. I'd have to Google that.
I think so. There is a rap album out there somewhere called Fear of a Black Planet. It's just a matter of put it out. Okay. They want to make it a black planet. They want to, that's what happens. It went from here, blacks, whites, or whatever. Now it's completely the opposite way around. Completely the opposite way around. And it's a shame.
Yeah. And again,
now they want to oppress everybody else except for them.
Well, that's the point.
Off the board.
But every time a guy like Drew Brees backpedals, every time a guy like Roger Goodell backpedals, every time
they bring a little bit more.
Correct. And every time we don't jump up and say, "Listen, Louis Peak is right." You know, they put out a TV show to The Sopranos. I watched it. I wasn't crazy about The Sopranos, but I'm not offended by it. And if I am, I just turn the channel and watch something else. If I'm offended by, it just doesn't make any sense.
His point is 100% right, 1,000% right. Okay, everybody, The Sopranos was the biggest show on TV. For those who don't remember, when it was on, up until season 3, and then after that, it sucked. But that's another story. But there's somebody that should have got whacked by The Sopranos and buried somewhere underneath the fucking 50-yard line at MetLife Stadium. Okay, but the whole point is that don't watch it.
Yeah.
You don't want to see it, don't watch it.
That's
you don't want to know about it, don't read about it.
That's the beauty of our country. If you have point of views and I don't agree with it, I don't have to associate with you. But I shouldn't suppress that. That's what people have been fighting for years. Don't suppress people's right to do things. Now it's being done the opposite. And if we don't fight back, and I'm telling you guys, I'm not kidding anybody, I am moving to the woods of Tennessee or somewhere. I'm getting out of here.
No.
Oh, yeah. I'm out.
You said you were going to leave the country. That's what you said.
I'll leave the country. I don't care.
Leave the country. Okay? That's what I'm holding you to.
That's okay.
You're not going to be like some of these celebrities that backtracked and bullshitted and everything else. We're holding you to it.
All right. That's fine. If Joe Biden gets in, I'm out. I'm done. I've had it. We will be useless. And Jeff, you're right. Sims was better than Namath. I agree with you. In fact, I got to watch Super Bowl III in its entirety. They played it last week.
Wait a minute. Sims better than Namath. Listen, I'm offended. I can't. Next Thursday, I could write back. In about 15 hours, I could go back on Facebook. Okay, but I never once ever said that Namath was the greatest New York quarterback.
Oh, that's Eli.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Who's the greatest New York quarterback?
I don't worry about it, man. I'll let you know next week. How's that?
No. We're putting you on the spot right now. Is it this guy?
No, that guy's a fucking schmo. But while you're playing with dolls and especially touching them in the jock, speaking of jocks, why don't we do to get the Tim Tebow? Dude, do you dye your hair red or is that real, man?
Catherine, you're absolutely right. It's a damn shame what's happening now, and we have to put a stop to it. But what were you saying, Jeff? What do you want to do?
That's what I'm trying to do, Catherine. It's a damn shame what's happening now, and I am trying to get a stop to it. I'm trying to throw this fucking guy off his tracks here. Let's do the best free agent signing.
Okay, I got that. Sure, let's do it. So,
sports.
Yeah, so the Post has been doing a lot of cool stuff. First off, they stole your what if segment, but that's okay. But they've been doing the best of New York trades, which I still think might be probably at this point might be the Messier trade, best New York sports trades.
Oh,
but they did one.
That's right. He was right.
He was a trade. So they were talking about the best free agents this week, best New York free agents, and I came up with a list of ones that I thought could fall into this category. And Roger Clemens, Adam Graves, Kevin Mawai, Curtis Martin, Catfish Hunter, and of course Reggie Jackson. Now, the easy answer is Reggie. Two World Series. Reggie had an amazing impact, but it was short.
Same thing with Catfish Hunter.
Yeah. Well, Catfish had 2 really good years, and then he came over, I think, in 75 or 70, 76, I think, was his first year. And by 79, he was basically done.
Yeah.
But his first 2 years
was gone.
I think his first year, he was like 25-13 with like a 2.3 ERA, like amazing year. And he threw
was he that good?
Yeah, I think both of those first 2 years, he threw over 300 innings.
Wow.
Yeah, and here's another one. I think he had 39 starts. He had a decision in 37 of them. Like he was, like he had, I think he was 24-13.
You were right. His first year in New York was 1975. He was 23-14, 17-15 in 76, 9-9 in 77, 12-6 in 78, and then 2-9 at the age of 33 in 79, and he was done. And then he ended up a shame. He ended up fucking dying so early, man.
Yeah, wow. 99 he passed away. I mean, what a shame. But his first year, I mean, he helped them get to the World Series. They lost to the Reds, but what a great player. But I mean, when you go through the list, Curtis Martin is a good one. I think Curtis Martin had a great run with the Jets, and all that. I just think when you put and I'm not a Reggie fan, but when you put together what Reggie did, his three World Series appearances, two wins, I would think easily to me Reggie is the greatest New York free agent ever signed, and there's some good ones. I don't know where do you fit in this one?
Well, you know what? You only mentioned a couple, and to tell you the truth, I misunderstood your question.
Okay.
Thank God I didn't go first, or else I would have looked really stupid. So I'll look stupid now and say it anyway. And the greatest free agent signing, in my estimation, was Mark Messier.
Okay, but Messier was a trade, but yes,
that's why I said thank God I didn't go first.
But Messi, yes, but yes, I would tell you if you want to change the category and call it a best imported player ever,
team edition or something, yeah, without a doubt. But let's stick with the free agents. You're right, Catfish Hunter. Even though he helped and he did his part, he didn't do anything to help in the series like Reggie did.
Yeah,
Reggie Jackson was just much more monumental in the World Series. Curtis Martin, he might have been the best pickup. Actually, Curtis Martin was a trade too, I believe.
Was he a trade?
Yes.
I thought he was a free agent. Maybe I'm wrong on that one.
He was a trade. Adam Graves, I'm not too sure about Adam Graves either. But Adam Graves, aside from the year that the Rangers won the Cup,
50 goals,
52.
52.
Okay,
correct.
But he never helped get that team back into Stanley Cup contention. I know they faced the strike the year after and everything, but that team was never a strong favorite to win the Stanley Cup after.
No.
94.
No, they weren't.
Not with that group of players they have. I know they went to a cup or two after that, but nothing like they were in '94. They were just like destined to win that.
Yeah, no. Again, I think when it comes down to it, like I said, if we want to take away and make it best imported player or addition to a team in New York, Messi wins hands down. I mean, he turned that team around. I mean, they went to win the President's Cups and they want to win the Stanley Cup, and they were a great team for a few years. But by far, Marc Messier made the biggest impact of anybody who came over. Wasn't a homegrown player.
No, but I got to agree with you as far as free agency goes. Catfish Hunter helped put free agency on the map. Reggie made free agency his.
Yeah.
And what better stage for a guy, a player like Reggie Jackson,
New
York, to come here? Like, it's almost like a fairy tale. How many people want to come to New York and win? Reggie Jackson did it at the time. Here's a question for you. Reggie Jackson's a free agent in 2020. Okay, let's say that we didn't have the pandemic. We don't have the virus going on. Reggie Jackson is 27 years old. Okay, just got off a great season, 35 home runs, 115 RBIs. I know he wasn't the fastest, and I don't really remember too much of him in the outfielder other than him being kind of an average outfielder.
Early on, he was a pretty good outfielder. I think later on, he got to be a liability, but yeah, I agree.
Older is like, what is Reggie Jackson getting? What is he pulling in a year in today's market?
Yeah, that's it's an interesting talk because he got a huge contract. I mean, not that it was big money compared to today, but you got to think he came off of winning 3 World Series in a row with the A's. Went 2 after a couple years later, went 2 in a row with the Yankees. I mean, the guy's a big impact. What did he get today? Probably $50 million, probably $30 million a year for a 5 to 7 year deal.
You got to think too. Let's say that he stayed was with Oakland, okay, and now he's just coming to New York, so he didn't have those 2 or 3 trips. Actually, it was 3 trips in a row, wasn't it? 77, 78, 79. He didn't go. 81, and he wasn't with the team in 81, right?
No, he that was, I believe, 81 was his last year. So they went to the World Series in 81, lost to the Dodgers. So he missed 76. 76, he was with the Orioles. I think he got traded early part of April.
So what year did Winfield come over to the Yankees then?
81. They won at least 1 year together, and they went to the World Series that first year.
Really, I did not know that.
Yeah, he left after the first year via free agency to the Angels.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'll go on. I'm sorry. Go on.
No, then Winfield stayed, played 10 years with the Yankees, and that was the famous, ending.
Wasn't Winfield a right fielder?
So Reggie DH mostly, played a little bit of the outfield at that time. And in fact, I think Winfield's first year with the Yankees, he played a lot of left field, so Reggie could play right field.
Oh, okay. I don't. I mean, it's been so long. God only knows, what happened.
Yeah, it's kind of ingrained in my brain. And the Posters had a pretty good series They had most of last week. I think the other part this week called Bronx Zoo Part 2. If you ever read the Bronx Zoo book, it was a really good book. Detailed the 77, 78 Yankees or 78 Yankees. So they did a whole thing, and there was different things, and one of them was Winfield's first year, Reggie's last, and all that stuff. So I got it pretty fresh in my memory right now.
Couple of weeks ago, I don't remember if it was at my mother's or when we did FaceTime. My mother was on a kick with FaceTiming for a while. They told me that Sparky Lyle lives in their area. They see Sparky Lyle from time to time in the stores.
Your parents?
Yeah.
Come on.
I swear to God, bro. Ask my mom. Man.
Well, I'm hoping to connect to a few people through Mr. Bloomberg next week. I know Ron Bloomberg's has a lot of friends with that, so I'm hoping that we impress him enough that he will recommend. Sparky Lyle's an interesting guy. Here's a guy who in 1977 won the Cy Young as a relief pitcher.
Was he when you say relief pitcher? Correct me. Was he the closer or was he the setup man?
No, he was a closer. He
lost his role to Gossage.
Correct. So now here's a guy who's the Cy Young, probably obviously voted the best relief pitcher and the best pitcher in the game, and the Yankees go out and get potentially the best reliever in baseball again, in being Goose Gossage. And totally alienated Sparky, and he was gone after the 78 season, I believe. So it's kind of crazy, and he was so not happy about the whole thing. But that's how crazy the Yankees were then, and George was. Here they got the best reliever, and they go out and spend money on Goose Gossage, who, listen, had a great run with the Yankees. Was unhittable, basically, unless you were George Brett.
Yeah. Well, listen, back then, what's his face? Steinbrenner just wanted to win. Wanted to win. So he was going to do whatever he put it at any cost. Didn't really matter. I'm looking up Sparky Lyle real quick because now that you brought him up, I want to see when he pitched into the early 80s, 1982.
Yeah. I think he finished up with, if I'm not mistaken, did he finish up with Boston?
No, Chicago. He went from the Yankees, to Texas, Toronto, back to Texas, Philly, back to Toronto, Philly, Chicago White Sox. And when he won the Cy Young in 77,
I believe so, 77.
He was 13-5, right? And with 26 saves. He led the league the year before in 1976 with 23 saves. And then in 1972, he led the league with 35 saves. So it's kind of odd to see. Actually, 35 saves, 23 saves.
Well, because guys finished their games back in those days. You look at Catfish Hunter. Catfish Hunter logged 300 and something innings 2 years in a row.
Yes.
Guys just finished their games, and that didn't have a lot of need for the guys like Sparky.
No, I hear you, but it's still wild to know like that 23 saves at one point in time led the league. Now there's guys that are like in the high 40s, 50 saves. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's a different game now. You get into the 5th and 6th innings, and you're already going to your bullpen, and that's the game plan. Back then, if you didn't pitch 8-9 innings, they looked down on you. I mean, think about it. I mean, look how many guys actually got 30 starts nowadays. And you got guys back then 39 starts, and he had 37 decisions in those 39 starts. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, when you had said about and to prove you right. That when Catfish Hunter, what you say, he was 23-14 in his first year or something like that with the Yankees. When you said that, I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, no way. I was like, no way. It's impossible. And then I looked it up and I'm like, holy shit. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Ron Guidry, 25-3, 28 decisions in 1978. And now how many shutouts did he have? How many complete games? Every time he was on the mound, I think he only had a handful of games where he didn't actually get a decision one way or another.
And that's the point. I mean, that nowadays most of these guys don't even factor into the results. They don't stay around long enough that they can leave with a lead in the 5th inning and not finish the game, not get a decision. It's crazy.
No, that's why I haven't listened to ESPN in a while. And when you do listen to them once in a while and they start talking baseball, you'll hear them say that, they want their guy. You get him to the 5th, 6th inning, and now you're going to your bullpen. Right. So, like, everything you're saying is 100% true if anybody doesn't realize it. But it's a shame. It's for what you're paying these guys. They're so afraid to let them go out there and play.
Oh, yeah.
Because what are you worried about? You're going to rip having an injury or something like that? They're like made of China, these people.
Yeah. I agree with you. It's a different game, and I think that's why the arm injuries, guys just aren't pitching enough. But I think it's more back in the day. It was almost like a knock on you. It was a test of your manhood that whether you could finish your own games. I mean, even in the early '90s, I think it was Andy Hawkins pitched 12 innings, no hitter, and still lost the game.
Yeah, I remember it was a couple games like that. Yeah.
Guys pitched both double headers in the 40s.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's different. I think the players are babied now. I don't begrudge it. I don't hate the way the game's played today. It's not 100% what I like to see, but but there's a big difference between guys like Catfish Hunter and the guys who are pitching today.
It's not the player's fault. It's that I'll say. It's not the player's fault because the player certainly doesn't come in and say, especially pitchers, because they're not going to take a position player out, observe them. But these pitchers, when they come in and they sign these free agent contracts, they're not going to turn around and say, okay, you're only going to pitch 4 1/3, 4 2/3 inning until after 4th of July, and then we'll increase your innings. It seems as though like they not even do they get in trouble? Are they having a hard time? They're not in rhythm. But like, okay, you're hitting your pitch count. I've never ever remember hearing the word pitch count until that guy Chamberlain used to pitch for the Yankees. Hobart Chamberlain or Joe?
Hobart Chamberlain, sure.
Yeah, that was when I first remember hearing the word pitch count.
Gotcha.
That for me. I don't know about you.
I would tell you that's when it became prevalent, and our good buddy Joe Gansas just popped up on the radio version. I got to bring Joe over, but yeah, that was Jabba Chamberlain was the first guy I remember being the guy who had a pitch count, and it really was a big thing. The Jabba rules.
Yeah, because he was so young at the time. I guess they wanted to make sure that his career was gonna.
And now they all have those pitch counts, and they already talk about guys. Oh, he's only going to pitch 100 innings. How do you make that decision before the season starts? But we'll come back to it. I want to get Joe on. I know he's busy at his job.
Put you on a pitch count.
Yeah, I need to be on a pitch count. I need to be on a pitch count. But let's bring our good buddy Joe Gansas on. He's calling from somewhere deep in the heart of Brooklyn. Joe, you out there, Joe?
What's up, guys?
What's up, Joe?
What's up there, Joe?
How you guys doing? What's going on?
Well, we just finished up our interview with Carmine Appice, whatever he calls himself, and Pete Biggiani Jr. from the band Kodiak. So we had our first had another celebrity interviews on video tonight. So that's always pretty cool.
Can you make Joey louder?
I don't think I can make Joey louder. You know what's funny, Jeff? I think it has something to do with your computer because when I listen back to the shows, the callers are loud as can be. So I think
I have two fucking speakers right in my face here.
Really? I don't know why you're not hearing. But Joe, first off, Joe, we know we saw you over the weekend, and of course we want to again say we're so sorry that about the loss of your mom, and she was such a nice lady, and we have so many probably fond memories of when we were kids and being in your yard that we wanted to kind of say that to you tonight and kind of have you on and maybe tell a couple quick stories. But tell us a little bit about your mom, Joe, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And once again, thanks, guys, for coming to the wake. It was cool to see you guys. And just sucked it was on those circumstances. Yeah, my mother was a great person. She really was. I mean, in my life, I probably an angel. All the good memories we had. I remember. We used to play in the backyard, and I could see how we had the clotheslines in the yard. There was always clothes hanging, TV out there, and every time we would play, she'd give me this look like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?" like that look in there. It was a look like I was annoying her, whatever, but it was all good.
She smiled though. I remember those days, Joe. I remember walking in and out of the studio. Or what we called the studio it was the family your old wine cellar, and she'd be out there and she'd smile and say hello, and I'd say, God, she must have hated the fact that Jeff and I would show up and all of a sudden this loud music was coming out that just didn't make any sense to anybody, but she never. I always had a smile, except when you walk by, she would shake her head.
The best thing about being in that backyard. There was so many great things about that time because it was all innocent. There we were together, just hanging out, playing music all day long. It would be 194 degrees in that fucking thing. Joe, your sister would be banging on the door. You guys are smoking pot in there? And because the lights used to go on fire and all of this shit that would happen in there. Remember all of that stuff? And we would play the same 3 or 4 songs.
Oh my God!
Yeah. All day long, and they never got any better either.
But yeah, Joe. Yeah, well, hopefully we're going to find out soon. But yeah, Joe, just it's amazing how your mom, your whole family put up with a lot of stuff, but your mom just never seemed to be any different, no matter what was going on. I remember times you fight with your sisters or all the craziness, and she would just be out there taking care of the yard or taking care of the laundry or whatever she did, and she just every time I ever ran into your mom, she would give me a hug, ask me how my family was. Talk to me about whatever, and she just couldn't have been a better, nicer person. Just amazing.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, she was special, definitely, absolutely.
Dude, I remember one time we were playing in the backyard. You had just gotten the CB 700 drum set. That's how long ago this was. And we started to learn Run to the Hills. And we were like, well, come on, let's just play it. And you were like, but I can't. And we're like, why not? And your mother had run over your hi-hats by accident. They were in the garage for whatever reason. And they were completely bent the other way. And we made you play it anyway. And it sounded so bad because the hi-hats were completely inverted and fucked up. And it was so funny. I remember you just looking at them. And we're like, just play it, Joe. And you pointed at it. And you were like, look at this. Like, how am I going to play it? It was just great times, man. Oh, my God. Great times.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Joe, like I said, your whole family is just an amazing group of people. But your mom was just, every time I ran it, I can, out of the neighborhood, came back in and be walking to the store with my son when he was young. And I run into your mom and it was just like, wow, she just, just a nice person. So we wanted this, just to kind of say something and have you on and, say thank you and, and thank to your family for, all the things that you guys did back then.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And I know, thank God, both you guys still have both your parents.
Yeah.
And I hope they live 20, 30 more years. But I mean, just a little bit of advice. Always try to reach out to them because I miss my father so much. I wish I could talk to him every day and my mother. So, if you can, just always try to stay close with them. And I know you guys are.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I mean, a good part of why this radio show's still going is because of my dad. He loves this every Thursday night. He looks forward. I'm going to call in and tell Jeff this. I'm going to call in and talk to Jeff about that. Or he just, when he doesn't call in, he'll call me up and I apologize. I fell asleep or I did. I value every second with them, both my parents and, but my dad, he lives for Thursday night. He just loves to call in and bring something up. So I do take your advice, Joe, and I do appreciate every minute I get with them.
Oh, yeah. And Jeff, I had called your parents yesterday because they sent me some nice flowers from my mother. And your father was saying some real nice things about you, how he thinks you're really good on the radio. You have a good voice. I just wanted to let you know that he supports you on the radio show. He was telling me yesterday.
He must have been drinking.
He calls me up and he says, "You're a dick." Not you, but you sounded like a dick tonight. What the fuck?
Is dad smoking medical marijuana now? Is there something, maybe his eyes been glaucoma or something?
Medical crack. Listen, it's bottom line is this: we're getting older, and our parents are just like a tie to when we were younger, and it's a shame that we spent so much time together when we were kids, and we got to know one another's parents.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that, Joe, that your mom died, and I know she was sick for a while, but, she was always a nice person to everybody. I never heard anybody ever say, "Oh, Joe's mom's home, don't go there, she's mean." Or she'd always say hello. She'd always had a smile.
Yeah.
She was always nice to us.
Considering her kids and some of the things they did, I think the woman was a saint. And
yeah,
Joe, you know what? I'll tell you a fast one. There's always one thing I always remember about your dad. There's one day I remember, never forget it. It must have been like 8 a.m. on like the hottest day of the year. And we were in the studio early playing. And I remember him knocking on the door, and I thought he was going to yell and scream. And he banged on the door like a police knock. Boom, 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 boom. And he goes, "I want to talk to you guys." And I remember coming to the door, and he goes, "I'm going to sit here, and I want you guys to play me your 3 best songs. Play me your 3 best songs. I want to hear your 3 best songs." And I remember being just so nervous. I thought he was going to beat us up if we didn't play well. I'm sure we didn't play well.
We had to pack up because there was no 3 best songs back then.
And just will never forget him sitting in the chair. It was a lounge chair, just staring at the door, and we had to keep it open. And I remember of course, it was about 150 degrees hotter in the studio outside because we put up all the stuff on the walls to try to deaden the sound that never deadened anything.
Never mind that. How about the great idea that we had? We got to put lights up because we're going to get used to playing it on the lights and stuff like that. So like we were getting fucking cooked. They were the same lights when you go to the hometown buffet to keep the fucking food warm.
Yeah, they put the rotisserie chicken around those lights.
Yeah, it would cook chicken.
Oh my God! But that's the first thing. Every time, Joe, you bring up your dad or I see a post, that is the image. Your father sitting in the chair, staring at the door, and was trying to play 3 songs that actually made sense. And
I'm sure he had a tall boy with him.
I was just to say, he's sitting there drinking a beer. Was whatever it was 8:30 in the morning. And I'll never forget it to this day. He was sitting there. I don't think he had like these. It was like hot. He had long pants on, but he was drinking a coffee. And he just the hair was good. It was just one of those things that it'll always be in my memory the rest of my life.
Joe, I remember one time being with you when you had the apartment downstairs in your mom's, and your old man was getting on your nerves. And I remember just sitting there, but you were getting a little out of hand with him, and you got mad and you like punched the door or something. Your father just looked at you and he was like, Joseph, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. Like nice and calm. And like you just looked at him and then you had like no choice but to walk away. Do you remember that day?
I remember the day, one day where he wanted to fight me from the yard. That was another day.
This time he didn't want to fight you, but just the way that he said it, I wanted to go home. Never mind you. I was like, man, this motherfucker means some serious business.
Oh, Joe, I gotta tell you, again, one of the reasons why we wanted to do this was to be able to talk, have a few laughs and a little bit of reminiscing. So, we hope that that you and your family are doing okay, and we'll always have a great spot for your family, your parents. Again, there's certain parents that I grew up with that, I spent more time with your parents a little bit, Jeff's a lot, maybe a little bit of the Bruscos, but they made a mark. And, I see Jeff's parents, it's still Mr. and Mrs., it'll never be, and it was just, it was comfortable at your house. It was comfortable at Jeff's house. There were houses that you just walked in and you were comfortable in listen, you walked into your backyard, you never know what was going to happen. You never know what was happening, going to do, what was going to be done. And I think that was part of the fun. But the funny part is no matter what craziness was going around, your mom was just, hello, go ahead. Wreck the neighborhood. We're good.
Yeah, she was cool.
Absolutely. So just like I said, we want to invite you on. How's things otherwise, Joe? You guys doing okay?
Yeah, we're doing okay. I heard when I called up, you guys mentioned pitch count.
Mention what?
Pitch count.
Yes, we were talking. We were talking a little bit. We got into pitchers and Catfish Hunter in '76, and then we were getting into pitch counts and Java rules and all that. What's your thought?
Well, I remember Java. You remember this game? I was in gambling, and didn't he get attacked by mosquitoes on the mound one day or something?
Yes, it was pitching in the playoffs in Cleveland for the Yankees, and I think they were called mites, and they had an attack in it. So instead of them either stopping the game or figuring it out, he tried to pitch, and suppose he got distracted, and he gave up a big home run, and they wound up losing the series. And but yeah, that was all like he was the phenom. He was Java rules. So yes, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Craziness. But yeah, Jeff's talking about that was the first guy who had this. They might have had pitch counts back in the day, or they were limited innings and stuff. But they came up with this whole set of rules for him, and unfortunately, he never went to be the star that he could have been or should have been. But that's where it all started. Now all of a sudden, everybody comes up and everybody's got a pitch count.
Yeah. Oh, I am officially back on Facebook.
Go
check out my post, man. Go check out one of my posts.
I am not going near your face.
Well, you're not going to see my face. I changed my profile picture.
Hold on, Joe. What'd you say?
You'll never see a game like this. The game turned out to be 1-0, and it was 16 innings. One pitcher. It was Warren Spahn versus Juan Marichal. 1-0. Willie Mays won it with a home run. You'll never see that again.
Never. No, never.
No, 17 different pitches for that.
Oh yeah. You by the 15th inning, your right fielder's pitching the game.
Yeah.
Because they use pitches up so quick. You're right, Joe. You'll never see that. And you were talking about before. Catfish Hunter in '76 was 24-13. He had 37 decisions of 39 starts. I mean, he pitched 318 innings. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. You know what, guys? I know why sometimes these. I don't know about you guys, but I like to see what a pitcher's worth. if he's going through a bad time, do we always have to yank him? Let's see what he's got for a couple more batters. Let's see what he's made of. He's got to go through that transition.
I agree. And yes, Allison, Jeff, I think the over and under is 6 days for Jeff to be bounced off again. Allison's asking how long to you kicked off again. I got the over under at 6.
Well, listen, first of all, Allison, my lovely cousin, ask me, don't put that out public, man. Come on, give me something here.
Yeah, Joe, but you're right, Joe. I think in general, especially pitchers are such a short leash that you don't give them the opportunity to learn and to get themselves out of trouble when they get themselves in trouble, or get themselves out of trouble when their teammates put them in trouble, Joe. And I think that's a big part. It's confidence.
Yeah, you're 100% right, man.
Yeah, I think that's a lost art now. Is you get a guy, all of a sudden it's the third inning and you're losing 1-0, and he gets first and second and nobody out, and the bullpen's up and warming up already. Or he's got 50 pitches already. Let him go.
And how about this? How about an unexperienced manager? He's got to also get his feet wet. So he's pulling the guy too early because he's new. Maybe he's getting pressure from the GM or the owner. So you never know.
Well, listen, that's the problem. Jeff, you're out of your mind. That's kind of the problem is, managers, coaches, they're on such a short leash. You don't get 10 years anymore. You don't get 5 years. So, these guys are getting fired after a year or two. So you manage each game like it's the World Series, which I'm okay with, but you're not building a future. So if you don't go in every game in April and May, you're on the hot seat already. And yeah, these guys, they're not building the pitchers for, building a staff for 3 years from now. They're building a staff for today. You have to win, Joe. So that's part of the problem.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
That's because there's no solid salary cap in baseball so that you could spend the money the way that they do. If they had a hard cap like they have in these other sports, you would see it as a little bit different. But nobody wants to make. You got to remember, a guy comes out at a AAA in the farms. He comes out. He has a couple good games, a couple good years, and then all of a sudden he gets this major contract. But he only signs for 3 to 5 years. Now he's due another major contract. Do you want to be the one that keeps paying this guy? It's not like years ago. How long was Casey Stengel the manager for the New York Yankees? Or you brought up Warren Spahn, Joe. How many years did he play for what was it? The Giants he played for, or the Braves Spahn played for?
Spahn and saying pray for rain. I want to say is the Braves? I want to say yes. I think you're right. Yeah.
These guys would spend 20 years with an organization. You don't see that no more.
Well, back then there was no free agency, so unless your team didn't want to sign you or they traded you, you were bound to one team for a very long time. So.
Yeah, but there was no free agency and all that other shit. Yes, but you had to make sure that you were contributing to the team. They didn't just take this guy right over here, sign him for 20. He's on the team for 20 years. He had to earn his keep. But these guys played, not like today.
No.
God forbid a guy gets a fucking blister. That's it. They shut him down for weeks at a time.
Yes, Tony Gunn, our boy is unchained. He's back. Check your social media, unfollow him, do something, because he'll only drag you down.
I never dragged another person down. All right, I always did my time alone. Remember that.
You almost got me. You almost got me.
You almost got you.
I
appreciate everything that you did that time. Okay, and without a doubt, you did the right thing. But nobody told you to do it.
That's true. I only blame myself for being friends with you. I only blame myself.
But from now on, I am posting nothing but pictures of fucking trannies. Fuck you, zucking fucking bird.
Oh, my God. Jeff, Tom, and good friend Joe Gansas here on the Hard Rocket Sports Show live via live stream on our Facebook page. Soon to be, Jeff, I got a question for you about soon to be off of Blog Talk Radio. We're going to do away with Blog Talk as of July. Joe, when you put away the show, did you cancel Blog Talk, or do you still keep that around?
I still have it because I still have it right now. I still have it.
Yeah, because I tried to cancel, and then what they tell you is you have to delete like all your shows. Basically, you're allowed to keep 30 hours if you want to keep the free thing. But you can pay and like $30 a month, and you can keep your shows, or I don't know. So I guess I got to go down and download every show I want to keep, and then I'm going to. I'm as of July 9th, we should be done and off the air of Blog Talk. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Minji, Pete D'Agostino. I don't know, but guys, yeah, Hard Rock Sports. We're here every Thursday night, 6:30 to 9:30, live via live stream, also on the Blog Talk Radio Network. Check us out on hardrocketsports.com. Go to Spotify, and of course on Saturday mornings on the Radical Online Radio Network. Which I don't know how much longer we'll be there if we don't have any more radio shows for them to play, but we'll see what happens with that down the road.
They could share this stuff.
I don't know if he can. I guess he'd have to download it and make a.
When you put it on the Hard Rock and Sports page, why can't he share it?
He could, but again, I don't know if that'll play on his radio show. But we'll see.
I see what you're saying.
You know, so but we're still here. We'll be here every Thursday, and we started out the show with a lot of political talk tonight. We're ending it up with some fun and having some. The Minji Hunter is watching, as Pete says. Welcome, Pete D'Agostino, to the show. Again, remember, guys, next week, Ron Bloomberg, Joe. We got Ronnie Bloomberg, the first DH.
Nice.
You guys got to follow him on Facebook. He tells the funniest, the best stories. I'm telling you.
I can. I could look up anybody else on Facebook.
Now you can. Yes, now you're officially part of the human race again.
Yeah, really.
I'm sorry.
I got my cousin is highly doubting me.
Joe, again. Joe, our condolences to you and your family. Thanks, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Hopefully we'll get together real soon.
Thanks for the dedication to my mother. It means a lot. Thank you, brother.
You're welcome, pal.
Got it, man.
That is Joe Gansas, our good friend. Again, you're listening to us via the live stream on the Hard Rock and Sports Facebook page. We had Carmine Appice tonight, Pete Biggiani, Joe Gansas, my dad, lots of guests, and a lot of talk on the thing. But Jeff, God, you were about to say something?
Yeah, I can't believe my cousin is like doubting me. I'm out of jail fucking for seconds.
Allison, I don't know you.
To get home yet, and she's doubting me already.
Allison, I don't know you personally. I will tell you, you are a sage. He will be in jail. I'm giving it 6 days.
You know what? I want to ask my cousin a question on the air right now while we're here. While I got it, because I never thought of this. But my cousin Allison used to do roller derby.
Okay.
Yeah, she was big into roller derby because
I had a cousin
come on the show one day and tell us some of these stories about what it was like to be in roller derby. I mean, I remember that was I don't remember, but I know it was a big sport in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah, my uncle was a big roller derby guy.
Yeah, and here we go. She was Babe Vigoda. Maybe we can have her. Yeah, Babe Vigoda. They used to have all these crazy names after celebrities. And
come on.
Maybe she'll chime in, but we got to get her on the show, have her tell us some stories.
Babe Vigoda. Come on, you can't be serious.
I get serious. Ask her. See if she says it. See if she says.
Come on.
Yeah, Allison, come on. If you hear us, chime in. What about the Babe Vigoda days? See if she answers. What's that?
If that is true, it is hysterical. I'm telling you.
Swear to God. I don't think that's her.
You sure?
Oh, look, she says I'd love to.
Well, she could come on. We could give it a link right now. She could come on and talk about Babe Vigoda. If that, Allison, was that true? Was that your name, Babe Vigoda? I gotta know.
Well, where did you get there? Babe Vigoda, number 56. There you go.
Wow, that is my all-time favorite name. That will now be my name someplace on social media as a tribute to Allison and her roller derby days. You got to tell. I got to get now. I got to have video of it. I got to have it now. Now we got to do it.
You know what? Let's
on the show next week.
Let's, Allison. I'll get in touch with you during the week, and me and Tommy will figure out the time and everything and let you know, and then you come on. It's just probably video will be better, so we get to hang out and see you for a while.
There's no doubt. Listen, we are doing away with the phone call guest. There's nothing better than watching Jeff
roll. Allison will remember that, but I kind of remember seeing that move or hearing about that move.
Flick shot, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, like I said, I have an uncle who used to do, I think, professional roller derby back in like the 70s.
Look, she was in Sports Illustrated just because of the name.
I'm telling you, that is the best nickname of all time.
Yeah,
that is absolutely the best nickname of all time. I think that is great. I don't answer it because I want to know next week when you come on how you came up with that name, all the stuff that goes with it. I got to know. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think I seen video of her.
Oh, yeah?
Before on it. I'm not 100% sure. I know I've seen pictures, and Allison, unfortunately, lives in Connecticut, so I don't get to see her too often. She was at the last benefit.
You didn't introduce me, by the way. I did. I know they were there, and I did not get introduced.
Well, sorry, I apologize, but she's one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet, and there she is smashing people's heads in. Like, I've seen some of the pictures, man. I wouldn't want to be on fucking skates in the same area as her.
Well, next week we're going to feature Allison on the show in a segment. We'll get some, maybe she got some video and we can kind of play, and we'll get the Sports Illustrated thing. We'll put that up and we'll have some fun with that. But we will do that right before or after Ron Bloomberg joins Jeff and I on the Hard Rock and Sports Show next Thursday night. So make sure you're back here with us when we enjoy the conversation with the first ever DH, the designated Hebrew, as his book is called. Make sure you check out Ron Bloomberg. I'm telling you, Jeff, you're on Facebook. Search for Ron Bloomberg and friend request him. He's the funniest guy. Tells great stories. You'll love it.
Listen, I'm sure he is. It's another sports guy that we get to talk to that we watch as a kid. Yeah. I remember having his baseball card.
Yep.
Maybe as early as 72, 73, 74.
Really?
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, Mr. Bloomberg, if you're watching this, you got clipped onto a bike fork with a clothespin so that I would sound like a motorcycle going down the street, at least in my mind at the time. But your card is gone.
Yeah, I don't even think I ever had his. I'm gonna say I had his card. That I know. I want to say maybe 76 might have been the first year. In fact, I probably still have it. I got to go look. I still have my Yankees from the early 70s through 94. 1990 was the last year I think I bought baseball cards. So I still have them in a book on my attic.
I remember, unfortunately, as a kid having baseball cards up the wazoo.
Sure.
And when I go in, if there's even card stores around, I would see some of the cards in the case, and I'd be like, I had like 14 of them. And they're going for $75 a piece.
I got swindled out of mine. My early sets, I got swindled by Enzo DeLuca. I think I must have walked in there with like "sucker" written on my head at like 14 years old. And he was like, I'll give you $25. I was like, $45, yeah. And I sold them like I had like Ricky Henderson rookie cards that are worth hundreds of dollars. And, and sucker, Enzo DeLuca, I'll never forgive you.
Imagine at least you got something for them. Imagine being told that football cards was the way to go.
Yeah.
Investing heavily in football cards. I have so many different fucking football cards of like Browning Nagel and Claire Thomas.
My God.
That was the year that I bought them.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, look at this. This is going to be great. And then all of a sudden, the market just bottomed out. Actually, there was never a bottom or a market for football.
No, I'll tell you, there was some, they came out with them later on in the early 90s, came out with some really nice versions of them.
Upper Deck was one of the brands for baseball cards at the very least, because Topps, sometimes you could see was obviously like a computer generated picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like all of a sudden, Upper Deck, you would see like somebody's face in the back of the card and the ground, like because they were, something was going on in the game, and beautiful pictures. And it wasn't just Topps, but they flooded the market.
Yeah.
So now it's like only certain brands are worth something, and I don't have that brand.
Yeah, I think basically, again, I got out of the sports card game, but I've always believed that it's the pre-90s Topps cards are worth most because they were more rare. After a while, you had Donruss and Bowman and Upper Deck and so many different versions. And, you'd have I have Derek Jeter's rookie card. Yeah, and the guy next year has 47 of them.
I know.
I have a bunch of rookies. I got George Brett. I still have Ricky Henderson. I think I got Mattingly's. They're worth a little few dollars, but not, I'm not retiring off of it, but
those cards, in order for those cards to be worth maximum money, you pretty much had to take them and have them pressed.
Oh, yeah.
And like sealed and fucking entombed in glass or plastic or something like that. They could have never have been touched because they'll find just like porn stars.
Oh, yeah.
A friend on that. And they'll just chopped away at the price.
I've tried to sell stuff. I remember years and years ago, and you go to a card, and the guy would take the card. It was like he was looking for looking at a diamond, and you have the glass out, and you look at, oh, there's a crease here in the back, this top is bent, and after a while, I just realized that I have them every once in a blue moon. I'll pull the book down and go through them, but I probably haven't done that since I moved in this house, and well before that. So, but next week, like I said, Ronnie Bloomberg.
That's another one that Catherine said. Topps, that was the big brand.
Yeah, Topps was the shit. I mean, if you have a Topps card from the 50s or 60s, it's a ton of money. If there's certain there were some from the 70s that are worth. Then we're going to say goodnight to the radio version. I'm going to kill the radio feed. If anybody's listening on there, you can switch over to the live feed on our Hard Rocket Sports page. So you do that. We're
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Bringing this episode to a close in a few minutes. I don't know if there's anything else I want to bring out real quick, but Jeff, real quick, Major League Baseball still can't get their act together. So right now they're still fighting over how many games, and the NFL is going to the Major League Baseball is going to punish the players by doing a 49-game season. They want 80 games, and I know the commissioner came out. Yeah.
Every single sport,
yeah,
they're trying to open, and everything else is having an issue. Baseball can't get it together on the amount of games and the money. NBA seems to be with the playoffs that there seems from the little that I read about it. Not everybody's happy with the alignment, the way it's going to happen. Hockey, the way that's going to happen. And then here comes football, the one sport that could possibly, outshine them all. And now they're possibly the talk of everything that's going on with the anthem and everything else. Yeah. Each one of these sports has a black mark against them.
Well, here's the thing about basketball. I think the big thing with basketball is I actually like the format. I do. I kind of like the fact that it's almost like an NCAA tournament. You're going to play a bunch of games, and it really. I think the format for basketball is good. The big problem with basketball right now is a lot of their bigger players, or there's a big faction of players that don't know if they actually want to play. So I think that's the big problem there is while they may have the agreements, they have the idea of they're going to start the season when. And here's the thing, that season's going to end in October, and they're going to start the new season December 1st. So there's going to be like 1 month layoff before the new season starts.
So basically it's going to affect this virus, this pandemic is going to affect 2 seasons.
Correct. Yes.
NBA.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I'm saying is, so, there's some players who say basically we should just shut it down, come back in regular and have a regular season next year. And there's others saying, no, we need the revenue. Let's get back on the court now, finish the regular season, finish the playoffs, and then we'll take a month and a half off and then show up again and start playing again. To me, I don't know what the right answer is, but the question is going to be, if you get enough players who don't want to play, do you not play? Do you bring in D-League players or other players, let teams fill up their rosters? What's the right answer if you're the NBA?
Well, listen, it depends on who the players are, okay? Let's face it, nobody's going to want to care. Nobody's going to care if the Tom Florios and Jeff Talwinskis of the NBA say, well, we don't feel comfortable playing.
Yeah.
They want to see LeBron and the rest of the guys, the big-name guys.
Yeah.
And if your team happens to have, a big 2 or a big 3, that's the ones that you're going to want to see play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
It's going to be tough, without a doubt. They're going to need as many big names as possible. So to fill a roster up, maybe say you have one big name and then the rest of it is D-League talent. Mm-hmm. Who's going to want that? Who's going to, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to.
Yeah, that's a big question. I think that's the big question in the NBA. The NHL, I don't think there's any real big hurdles. It seems like the players are in. I know that in I think July they start the camp, and I just don't know why it's going to take so long to get them back on the ice. But they're targeting July 10th for camp. First games are on the 31st. So really you're going to in a time when there's usually just baseball kind of in the middle of the season and football, you're going to have the two of the major sports in their playoffs. Football and training camp and baseball in the middle of the regular season. It's going to be kind of a very weird summer when it comes to sports. I don't know how much paying attention people will do. I think, and again, how much does what's going on in our country right now bleed into that will be a big question. How much, will players be walking around and shoving it down our throats? Will kneeling? How much are people, how much are people going to care, or how much disgust are people going to have with it?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, like how about people that plan their vacations and that there's families that do this. they take Junior out for a baseball game once a summer. You know, now through no fault of theirs, are they going to be able to even do it? You know, like, are they going to allow people at games? And if they do, our ticket price is going to go up because they're only going to be able to fill maybe a third or a half a stadium, if that.
Well, here's the thing, Jeff. You sell, let's say you're a baseball team, you're only allowed 25% of your 40,000 people. So 10,000 people get into to see a game. Okay. You have 15,000 season ticket holders. How do you determine who got 10,000?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and think about that for football. You have 80,000 seat stadium. You get to have 25%. So now you're getting 20,000. You know, they probably have 60,000 seats sold for people.
Well, you know, they would probably have to offer it in the seniority of the ticket holders.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, like, if you have your ticket since 1995, but I have my ticket since 2012, they should ask you before they ask me.
I agree.
But
here's the problem:
doing that now, because if something happens, you don't want it, I don't want it. Well, that's some seats that they could end up go on down the line. That okay, we're going to let 20,000 in, but we could sell 8,000 seats per game.
I got to be honest. I think sooner than later, because of this pandemic, because of the protests, 2 weeks ago, you were going to jail for life if you went out of your house and stood around with more than 5 people. Now, all of a sudden, it's no big deal. Now, they all talking about, there may be a second wave. There may, I'm not buying into any of the bullshit. I think now you will see more fans much faster at games. And I'm going to tell you I'd be shocked if by second month of the football season, you have almost full capacity of people going to games. I believe it. I think that's I do not believe I think people are tired of it. I think people are fed up with being told they can't go out when you watch the streets and there's 5,000 people crossing the Brooklyn Bridge at one shot.
Yeah, well, listen.
I think that's all part of it.
A whole other story, even though I 100% agree with you. Whole other story. And the thing for me is simply this. I just want to go fucking sit down someplace other than my table and eat something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
I'd be happy with that at this point in time. And a lot of people are behind me with that, or with me on that. Think the same way. It's unbelievable. Yes, all of the numbers for the coronavirus, we understand, and everything else. But you know what? It wasn't like 4 million people caught it, and there's over 2.5 million people dead.
Correct.
You know what I mean? The numbers speak for themselves. They made this doomsday scenario and rammed it down our throats, and people are tired of it.
Yeah, well, they're trying now with they're concerned about a second wave because of the protests and all the people.
Yeah.
You
got the fucking virus. You know what you have? You have something that not many people have: antibodies.
Yeah.
You know what else? I got antibodies. You know why? Because I had the virus, and my wife had the virus. And you know what? If you didn't have the virus, fuck you. Find out if I'm good. If I'm good, then why shut everything else down to punish the people that already had the virus and have the antibodies?
Yeah, they're not
be able to go out and do what we got to do.
Yeah, they're not going to shut down this country ever again. It won't happen.
Dude, it could happen in the blink of an eye. Just like
they'll never do it. I mean, this president, you may shut states. You may get governors who want to shut a certain state. I'm not going to argue that. I don't believe you're going to have again what you're having now. I think people realize, first off, I think anybody you listen to now will say that this virus, while it's still out there, the strain is weakened because as it gets person to person, it weakens and weakens and weakens.
Yes.
So I don't believe that they're going to be the panic. You may get a spike of people who get it, but I don't think you're going to see the numbers the way you did. And listen, let's be honest. Almost 2 million people got it and 100,000 people died, which is, again, nobody should die from it, but it ain't.
It's a bad number.
Plague.
But you know what? I was just at my doctor's last Friday. My doctor told me, he goes, in his estimation, by next year at this time, this is a cold.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah, you'll get it. Yeah, because it's a cold. He goes, it's like you just said, it weakens. It just continues to weaken and weaken and weaken. He goes, it's not going to be the same virus next year at this time. Right. It'll be a cold. And then that's that. And you know what? They need to find out where if you have the antibodies, are you going to get it again? No. Okay. So let people that actually have it or had it know that they're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh my God, the second wave, the horrid second wave. I saw an article in the paper. It made me shudder where it said second wave of corona. It's like, oh, God, here we go again. Just as we're getting out of the house a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, second wave. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
And it's not that I'm afraid of the second wave. I'm afraid of having to listen to all the bullshit for another 3-6 months about how we can't go outside and how you can't, there are friends of ours, and I'm not going to bring their names up, who lost a family member during all of this, and they weren't allowed to have a funeral.
Yeah,
and I think, again, these protests, while I disagree with them, the one thing they think they've done is they've knocked COVID off the map. And there's a few people still hanging around trying to scare you and sell you on it. I'm telling you, people are tired. I think, just like you said, Jeff, people just want to go out. And my wife and I are going to go find an outdoor restaurant this weekend and go sit someplace and eat. And I'm not going to wear a mask if they don't ask me to. I don't care. I just want to sit outside someplace and have somebody come over and serve me a plate of food, because I'm tired of eating indoors in my house all the time.
It's just, listen, it's just having the freedom of the choice. I don't have to. I didn't go to restaurants for years when I was a kid. Our parents never took us out to eat because they didn't have the extra money for that. It's a luxury that we were afforded now because we're in a different position than we were when we were kids.
Sure.
It's just the thought and idea that, you know what, here I am sitting here again. Here we are. It's like night after night after night. My wife's a good cook. I love her for the things that she makes.
Same thing.
Why should she have to cook every fucking night for months? Let me take it even for a slice of pizza. I don't care.
It's nice to be able to. And again, like I said, I'm going back to the sports end of this. I do believe that in short time, people will be back in stadiums. Again, I think by the second month of the football season, I'd be shocked if we don't have near full capacity at that point. I just believe that's we're headed back that way. People in general are tired of it, and I think that's where we're going to go. We'll see. It could be 100% wrong, but I don't. I think the sports need it for the money. I think the people need it for their morale, and I think after a while, people are just not listening anymore. I think the common guy is looking and going, "You're telling me that I can't do stuff." And I'm watching funerals for people, 500 people in this church. I'm watching protests, thousands and thousands of people shoulder to shoulder. I don't see any problems with it. So I think that's where we're headed.
No, and we can only hope that that's where it's headed, and just for a little normalcy for us, you know what I mean, in our lives, that's all. And our friends and our family and everything else. It would be nice to just do something normal for a change. And I mean, I'm not a big drinker. You know what? Mother Pugs, every once in a while, they throw up a little teaser. And they say, we're going to be open soon. We're going to be open soon. I was reading one to my wife. I told her, as soon as they open, I'm going for a beer. And she's like, yeah, good, me too. Because I just, feel as though it's the thing to do.
Absolutely. And listen, I got a haircut appointment scheduled for June 27th. A week ago, I had it. As soon as they were opening up, they called me and said, "We'll make an appointment. Make me an appointment. It's the first appointment I can get." I got it June 27th. That's how I'm looking forward, just to be able to sit in the barbershop and get a haircut.
So wait a minute. Oh boy, here we go. You go get Manscaped.
Get a haircut.
You go get Manscaped, don't you?
First off, I manscape myself. I don't need anybody else to manscape.
Oh God, no, the Florida buddies, they're all fucking clean.
I'm just telling you flat out. Yes, Catherine, and listen to live music in a bar would be great. But yes, I absolutely
manscape nuts.
My wife's been doing my hair. I'll give out the haircut, like the hair.
Yeah,
I'm happy with it.
Let me ask you something. Does she do your roots too, or do you do those?
First of all, I go all natural. There's a lot of gray up in that head, and I've heard every single one of them.
I'm looking on this side, right? I'm pointing at the wrong side over here.
Yeah, so I've heard every bit of gray in this hair, and I enjoy it, and I'll keep it that way. But I'm looking forward to getting a haircut. But I'm looking forward to going to some of the places.
I was looking at your hair the other night. And do you remember playing pool with Todd Wegner? Remember Todd Wegner?
Sure, I remember Todd. Sure.
And we went and played pool, and he was setting up the rack. He was solid stripe, solid stripe, solid stripe. Remember that?
I do not. I remember playing pool with Todd. I do not remember that specific.
Remember that? Well, that's what your hair is like. It's like every other fucking one is black, white, solid stripe, solid stripe, solid stripe.
Listen, I'll take the color as long as most of it's there. I'm a happy kid.
Mine is in fucking patches, just white, some black, white, black.
Yep. No, but again, the one thing I'd say that the Florios, my grandfather passed in his early 60s. My dad's in his 70s, and salt and pepper, and he's got most of it. So I'll take that one. I'll take that to the grave. But I got my Green Bay hat on tonight.
Bro, you're a Packer. I didn't think you liked the Packers.
First off, I would say I do. My dad was a big Packer fan as a kid, so I kind of got into them, and it was my high school football colors, and I like the hat. So I own
Packers.
Green Bay Packers.
Like Green Bay Packers, don't you?
Yes, Catherine. Jeff's kind of salt and pepper, wherever it's still there.
When my hair looks like my hair is not salt and pepper. My hair looks like the road when they go to salt the streets, and the salter parks in one spot for too long and just runs, and they just got clumps. Like, see the clump of salt over here, and then there's the roadway over here. There's another clump of salt. That's what my head looks like. Tommy has salt and pepper.
I got salt and pepper. There's no doubt, and I'm happy for it. But guys, we thank you all for listening tonight. We had a blast. I'm sorry it's the age. First off, there's not a lot of sports to talk about. There's not a lot of music to talk about. But the politics is huge, and I'll say it to you guys. You're free. Please vote. I think it's important. Pay attention to politics. Get through the bullshit. Watch everything you can. Listen to everything you can. Get all the different views. I will beg you, please, if you go to the polls on November 3rd, vote for Trump, because if Joe Biden gets in, we are doomed. We are doomed.
And I'm going to implore you to not listen to Tommy. Vote, yes, but don't do it because Tommy told you. Do it because it's the right thing and the American thing to do. Don't listen to Tommy.
I agree. Listen, I agree.
Don't even listen to him now. Vote
for my guy.
Yeah. Okay. I bet you the head. Let me see the rest of the body on that. Is there a body?
Yeah.
Yeah. You sure? All right. Because I could see you taking the head off and putting it on your willy, so you could talk. Hey, Don. Hey, Tommy. What's up? It's me.
You can vote for Phil for the Hall of Fame. He deserves it.
And then you could take the football out of his hand and put a little testicle in there.
Phil belongs in the Hall of Fame, right, Phil?
Where's Eli? I would rather see Eli than Phil Simms.
Nope. Tonight, this week, it's Eli's on the shelf upstairs. I got to get a stool to get to Eli.
A stool.
I need a stool. I got to get some hops. I have to tell you, I started playing basketball again. I've been going a couple days, just about every night the last week or so, and just shooting some hoops, dude. I have to tell you, half hour of just shooting baskets. Holy cow! My knees, my back, everything hurts, but it's been a lot of fun to get back and get a little extra workout. See you, Catherine.
I would rather sign up as an undrafted free agent and try out for running back than to try to play basketball at this point in time in my life.
Believe me.
That has to be so fucking painful the next day.
I will tell you I went Sunday for the first time, right? And
you went back?
Yeah. I did it. I didn't do it tonight because of the show. But Sunday I went, and Jeff, if I tell you, I took the first 20 shots I took, I think I got one in, and maybe two others actually hit something. Everything else was just dead, just air all over the place. The second night, I actually shot pretty well, but I will tell you, I was like, the parts of your body just don't move the way they used to.
Oh, no. One of the last times that I remember playing basketball, like real competitive, was up at PS13.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Okay, so that was how long ago that was. And I remember coming down the wrong way, and I could feel it happening now. I could actually feel it. But snapping my ankle, how it didn't break and everything else was beyond me. But that was one of the last times that I remember playing. Oh, I can actually feel it happening, man. That I actually played basketball. And every time after that, I go to job, I'm like, no, remember that. Like, it just scared the fuck out of me from playing. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny? What I remember about that was me, you, and Joey were a team, and we played every week, and we lost one time. I can tell you for a fact, we dominated at the PS13 because we lost. I remember one game, and all the time we played together at 13 for 2 years.
Yeah, we were. I remember we had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun doing that
every Wednesday night, Mr. Asdale. Yeah,
we were actually pretty good.
Yeah, as a team, we were good. I mean, individually, none of us were any great, but for some reason, we played really well. And I remember those days was a lot. In fact, I have some pictures from that of us at the gym, shooting hoops.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Nobody was going to confuse us with LeBron and company.
No, definitely not. But as a team, we managed to win a bunch of games against a bunch of white guys. So why not?
Yeah, it was fun, man.
Well, yeah, I did manage to get through this week. I'll take off tonight and tomorrow night, and then Saturday and Sunday I'll be back. It's just a good workout. It's a good way to get, after all the walking I do during the day, I've been doing 4 or 5 miles a day at work, just bouncing between jobs.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, man. A lot of
work. Yesterday, my legs were like rubber. Like couldn't even. It was like I couldn't feel my legs underneath me. That's how rubbery they were.
Oh, I can imagine, man.
But it is. But I know your wife's probably got to get to bed soon. So let's start wrapping this up.
My wife, listen. I know it's late, and you're right. We got to wrap it up. But I don't hear no activity. The dog never came upstairs once. That means they're both out. They count downstairs in the basement.
Listen, we didn't get to a lot of stuff tonight. We'll hold it till next week, but it's been great. And again, I'm glad you guys stuck with us. A lot of people talking with us tonight, and the politics end of it. I know it's not a good part of the show, but I think with what's going on right now, it's vital. And the show's just kind of growing a little bit, Jeff. I think we got to kind of get to Jeff Salt Patch Telwinski.
Well, that's what it looks like. Look at it. Can you see it?
Tony, you're 100% right, Tony.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Tony Gunn, another one that has salt and pepper hair. There's a difference between salt and pepper. I look like fucking Paulie Walnuts from The Sopranos. Look at that shit.
Got the swirl going, but I'll start the thank yous. Let's start with thanking Carmine Appice, Pete Biggiani Jr. for a great interview. Thanks to my dad for checking it. Thanks for Bill Graziano for coming on early on to give us a hand with our political talk. Thanks to all of you guys out there paying attention. It's amazing to me every week when I wrap this up and there's 160 to 500 people paying attention. It means a lot to me, at least, for all of that. And of course, thanks to my partner, the sexiest man on the screen right now, for 3 hours of some fun, a lot of good talk, a little bit back and forth, Jeff.
Yeah, listen. It's always a fun time, man. I look forward to Thursday nights. I did like earlier on in the pandemic when we were doing a special show here and there.
Yeah, me too.
Try to bring that back once in a while, even if we do an hour here and there.
Yeah, listen, I'm up for almost any night. To me, I love doing it. I want to hopefully do some Sunday shows when the NFL kicks off, if I'm still watching it. So I'd like to get some more shows on a Sunday, but we'll see.
The last thing I want to see happen is the NFL bend over backwards and conform in any way, shape, or form. That is the last thing that I want to see happen. But I have to say this much. I hope that Barkley, Jones, Gettleman, and the rest of the crew, Judge, and all of the rest of them, all come out with like Black Lives Matters tattoos and apparel and everything. But
dude, I wouldn't even mind that. I don't care if that's how you feel. Do it. That part's never bothered me. But what bothers me is when you restrict what I can do or what I can watch or what I can say. That's what bothers me.
I hope Daniel Jones gets a Colin Kaepernick tattoo right here.
It's okay.
That's what I.
And then we'll just bring this guy right out of retirement.
Doesn't matter. He's closer to fucking dying than what do you call it? Ever get on field again? Matter of fact, even Channel 2 fucking push him off the pasture.
No, he's on the pregame show. There he is. Let's get him on the screen. There he is. The boy, my man, Phil.
Mm-hmm. Where's Eli? I noticed you're another one that gave up on Eli.
No, Eli, I told you, Eli's on the shelf. I got to get a step stool.
If you had Eli, why do you need a step stool? Why is he up on the shelf now?
Because he's on the shelf. He's on the shelf of honor with Don Mattingly and Pete Rose and my Eddie bobblehead. So he's up there tonight.
Eddie bobblehead.
My Eddie bobblehead.
I have a couple friends here with me too. I have the Aflac duck.
Nice.
Actually, I have some other waterfowl too. This is DH03 Duckhead 3.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, he's a duckhead. And then just some other things. I found this. I don't even know what the fuck it is. It's a pumpkin. I don't know what it is, but just some stuff I got with me. Look at that, man. Wow, there's a piece of history. Who's that chubby guy in the white shirt? And why is he coming up behind me with his hands on my shoulders?
A lot of history there, Jeff. A lot of history there. That's what I'll tell you. A lot of history in that picture.
You remember who took that picture?
You know what? I'm gonna guess it's got to be one of two people. It can either be Paul Gill or my brother.
Your brother.
Yeah, it's got to be one or two. I'm looking at the crowd. I'm going, okay, who's missing out of that picture? I knew it wouldn't be Jimmy, so it's down to two people in my book, Paul or my brother.
What a shame, man, that photography was such a
far
out concept back then when we were kids.
Well, it was so much work. You think about it. You take pictures.
That's what I'm saying.
It was so much work.
Yeah. That God forbid you didn't get the film done in time. And
I mean, God, what's really is a shame is that video wasn't simpler back then. I mean, because I can think of all the studio stuff and all the stuff that we could have filmed at the time. Although the camera in a hand of our crowd could have made for some very interesting evenings.
Depends on who was there. Yeah, it could have been bad. It could have been bad. Yeah.
Exactly. So we'll have some fun. But again, thanks for everybody for coming on tonight. Thanks for everybody for listening. We'll be back next Thursday night, 6:30 to 9:30. And like Jeff said, I'm open to do more shows. I'll always want to do a show. I love doing this. I can do this every day. So to me, guys, make sure you share our show when you get a chance. Put it out there. We're trying to get a little more interest, a lot more people listening. But we hope you come back, and we'll see you guys on the next one. And hopefully Jeff and I'll do a few more of these every week. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I'm ready to go.
All right, but for now, we're going to say goodnight. We'll say goodbye. We'll say please be safe. Please, 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 please let your voices be heard. Get out there and let them know that it ain't cool. Elmer's got to have a gun. Yosemite can't be stopped. We stand for the flag and we kneel for God. We have to support the police, and we need to have our voices heard, guys. So. I know we're just a little bitty show, but we try to make sure that we get our point out there to people, right, Jeff? That's what we do.
Yes, sir. But I want you to remember one thing, man. You may stand for the flag, but Ozzy and Black Sabbath said God is dead. Remember that.
Yes, and was that when Ozzy was snorting ants, or was that before that?
Oh, he was supposedly clean and lucid at that point in time, but listen to the song, man.
We'll see. But guys, stay safe. Have a great week. We'll see you guys back here next week. Father's Day the following week, and so we'll do that next week. But thanks to everybody who paid attention. Thanks for everybody here. So again, for Jeff, myself, and all of us here at Hard Rock and Sports, I'll say thank you for listening. Thanks for watching, and please hug your family. Have a great weekend, everybody. Jeff, have a good one, brother.
Later, my man.
Good night, everybody.
Later.